My peoples. Come on in, come on in, come on in. My peoples. My peoples, my peoples, my peoples. My peoples, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I don't want to make this thing too long. Hopefully we can get a couple people in. Y'all want to get invited. Y'all want to talk to me. Because that's really what I'm really on here. I really don't have much to say today, for real. I'm just live because I want to connect with my people over here on TikTok, man. We got a lot to say over here on TikTok, baby. And I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to talk to you. I want you to talk back to me now. Jackie, I see you, baby. I see you. I see you. Y'all want to get on here? Give me a request. What's going on? I see you. Purple Escape, I see you. Absolutely. What we got going on, family? I want to know how we was doing this past holiday. How did we handle this right here? Come on now, talk to me. Talk to me, baby. What's going on? What's going on? Dallas, I see you in the house, baby. Teddy White, I see you. I see you. Birdlow, I see you. I see you. Tyrone, I see you, baby. What we got going on, fam? How did y'all handle this holiday, man? I see you. Patrilla, I see you. I see you. I see you. How do we do this holiday, y'all? Come on now. Let's talk. How do we do this holiday? It's only like my third, maybe fourth time. And I see you. Suad, I see you. If I said that right, I'm hoping I said that right. Excuse me if I didn't. I see you. How did you do this holiday? How did you do on Christmas? How did you do? Give it a little bit more. Give a couple people more time to come in. Queenie, I see you. Becoming Ivory. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank you for joining in. Want to see how y'all was doing. I could kick it off, baby. If y'all want to join, send me an invite. I want to hear from you. It's gonna be. I want this right here to be a different live. Okay, I hardly go live on TikTok. I mainly go live on Facebook, do a couple of shorts and send them over here on TikTok. But I decided to go live this time on TikTok today because I didn't get a chance to go live earlier. So I want to sit right here and I want to talk to y'all for a minute. Tell me what you got going on. All right. I can kick it off. Kim, I see you. Kim Jackson, I see you. Benusa Jackson, I see you. I wanted to know, how did y'all holiday go? Karen, I see you. Melissa, I see you. How did that holiday go, y'all? See, let me explain to y'all something about my holiday. I'm going to start it off and I'm going to let you know how mine went. My holiday went better. I'm not going to lie. My holiday went better than this year than it did last year. Okay? I'm going to jump straight into it. Last year, I wasn't feeling too good. See, around the time last year, my son passed away last year, November 9th, 2024. That was really close to the holidays. So because of that right there, I didn't see none of those holidays straight at all. I didn't see none of those holidays straight. When that happened and when that holiday finally did come around here, I wasn't in no position and I wasn't, in no condition to celebrate anything, right? So what I did when I look back at last year's holiday and how the holiday went last year for me, I took very good notes of that right there because I know how I felt. And I used that right there as ammo. I used that right there as ammunition to kind of like help myself not go back down that path I did last year. See that guy right there? I was sick about it after losing that guy right there. That's my boy right there, okay, y'all? And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know that because I get on here and I talk about it, but that's my junior right there, okay? And last year, around Christmas time, I wasn't no good. So this year, when the holiday season came back around, I kind of knew what to expect. You know what I mean? At least I felt like I knew what to expect because I didn't forget about what happened last year, okay? And when this year came around, it was like because I paid attention to what happened last year, I was able to prepare myself this year for the same thing, period. Now, here's what I want to say because, see, and when y'all in moments like this, especially, see, I'm talking to everybody that lost a child. That's what this is mainly about. It's mainly about the ones that have lost a child. And in this right here year in specific, I'm talking about the ones that lost a child this year. The ones that lost, I'm talking to everybody that lost a child, but the ones that lost a child this year that went through this right here for the first time this year, okay, I'm talking to you because it was tight. And I know it was. You couldn't focus. You couldn't keep your eyes from being watered. And in some cases, some of y'all cried all day, all night. You couldn't stop. And the pain that was in the inside of you from not seeing your child being able to open up their gifts this year, it was just unbearable. Trust me, I know. And then listen, I'm gonna tell you some more good stuff too. If you had kids that was behind that child that you lost, or was around that child that you lost, to see them opening up gifts and stuff like that, that right there was another plug it pulled from me because in my case, Junior, he got a sister right behind him, okay? And she had to open up her gifts that first year by herself. That took me out the game, baby. It took me out the game. It took me out the game. It took me out the game. I didn't know how to feel about that for real. I kept on leaving the room with tears in my eyes. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. That's why I said, see, me typically when I'm talking about this stuff right here, because I'm more so now on a healing path, and I like to help people join that movement on healing, because staying in grief too long, you're gonna hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hurt nobody, and I don't want to hurt myself most of all, okay? So when this year came back around, because I had been through it last year, I was able to get on here beforehand to forewarn the ones that have been going through this right here for the very first time. I was able to get on this thing right here and let the people know, hey, be careful. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to come in. Now, for some that have not lost a child, they have no idea what you're going through. They don't know what you're going through. They have no idea. They could tell you all day long that they understand, that they feel you and stuff like that. Yeah, they feel your energy. They don't feel your pain, okay? And that's the reason why they say that they feel you, because they feel your energy. They don't feel your pain. Nobody gonna feel that pain but you. And the way that you're going to feel that pain is going to come in many different ways that cannot be explained sometimes, because sometimes that pain is only encrypted for you. You see what I'm saying? And it's encrypted for you to the point sometimes you can't even describe how that pain feel sometimes, because that pain was encrypted just for you. Okay. And so when this year came around and I knew what to expect already based upon what I had been through last year, I just applied some of those principles from last year, man. And I really tried to hold tight this year. And I did. And so for like last year, what I couldn't take last year, I was able to absorb this year. And when I was able to do that, what that told me was, okay, the work that I did, the mental work, the stuff that I tell you up here, this right here, it helped out. It did. It worked out. It worked out. Like I said, some people will tell you that it don't get no easier. It don't get no easier. It get harder and it get worse and all this other stuff. And in some cases, depending on where your mindset is, that can be true. For me, I didn't want to be able to tell that story. I didn't want that story to be able to sit up there and tell y'all that, hey, wait a minute, it only get worse and worse and worse. No, it gets better and better and better, but it gets better gradually. It happens gradually. You got to be in the space in order to receive that. And it's going to get better, and gradually it's going to get better. And the reason why it's going to get better is because the worst end of it you have seen already. You done seen the worst end of it, okay? For those that had a service for their child, you done seen your child in that coffin already, okay? You done been through the hard part of watching them close that bad boy. You done been through the hard part of taking that long, ever-ending drive to that cemetery. You done been down that path already, okay? And say, okay, and you been through the repass. That right there would have been the hardest part. The physical hardest part for me, at least, okay? But if you done been down that path already, you don't have to go down that path again with that same child. At that point, what you're doing is you're going to help yourself by trying to recover, trying to recoup, not going down that same path again, up here mentally. That's why when I talk about this stuff, I always say, pay attention to your energy, pay attention to what's going on in the inside, and you got to pay attention to what's going on around you at this point. Because right now, your spirit is wide open. Your spirit is wide open right now. Your spirit is wide open, okay? And when your spirit is wide open like that right there, hey, you got to be careful about what you letting in. You got to be careful about what you letting in, because if you stuck in grief, that right there it won't allow you to hear and see the things that you need to see. See, when I was going through this right here, the majority of the stuff that I was listening to, guess what? It was happening when I was in my worst moments, when I was in my deepest grief moments. This is why I be trying to tell y'all. And it's not a slap in the face to say, don't worry about your child. Because right now, your child can't feel nothing. They good. They better than me and you is. You know why? And I had to learn this right here myself. My child is better off where he at, right now in terms of what I have to go through, because he don't have to live through the grief that I have to live through. You see what I'm saying? He perfectly fine where he at. And if you listen deep enough, your child will tell you that. You will hear that from your child. I had to listen for that stuff, but I had to listen for it in my grief moment. You know what I'm saying? I had to listen for it in the time when I was down and out the worst. I'm telling y'all, that's when y'all gonna hear y'all best messages, okay? And you got to listen for it, though. You got to have some type of ear open for that, because you will hear them say something, okay? You will hear them say something. Man, you're going to hear so much stuff when you down like that right there. And some of that stuff, because you dealing with the spirit, that spirit, and when I tell you that spirit, that go for good and bad. That's why it's important that you use discernment on this, and you know what you listening to, because it could fool you. You can get tricked. You can get tricked thinking that you listening to an angel guy, but you could be listening to an evil spirit, because they play a lot on that same realm. It's a lot of stuff that's going through your mind right now. It's a lot of stuff that's going through your head right now. And if you're not careful, you're going to let all this stuff right here in. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And when you in your grief moments, when you at your lowest moments, okay, you won't be able to hear the message that's coming through to you, because I'm going to tell you, sometimes in your lowest moments, that's when you're going to hear your child. That's when you're going to hear him. You want to hear your child, you got to pay attention to him. That's why I say you got to pay attention to what's going on in you and around you. You're going to have to take your mind off your child for a minute. That might not be no good news for some of y'all, but you're going to have to take your mind off your child for a minute, so you can hear the bigger picture, so you can hear what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So you can hear what you got. going on up here. Because that's where, from now on, dealing with that child, that's where it's going to be at. It's going to be right here. You see what I'm saying? So I figured that because my child passed so young, my son was 7 years old. Okay. My son was 7 years old when he passed. Okay. And that was not easy to explain to his sister, that the two peas in a pod. Okay. They're only 2 years apart, and they was running together, two peas in a pod. Him and her. They was two peas in a pod. That wasn't easy for me to tell her that. That was not easy for me to break that to her, that her brother was gone, and I didn't know how she would have took that. And so once you done got past that right there, man, I'm trying to tell you, you pay attention to what's going on up here when it comes down to your child that's gone, because that's how you're going to have to communicate with them from now on, okay? And see, what that did for me was it forced me, because I was so connected with my child. I was so attached to my son. What happened was, when he passed, that right there forced me to have to look inside the spiritual realm, so to say. And it took some work. This right here is nothing that's going to happen overnight. Don't worry about how long it's going to take and all this other stuff. It's going to take some practice to deal with this right here, because you're not used to operating on that level like that, okay? You're not used to that. And then once you get ready to listen to them, if you can hear them, I want you to understand this, okay? I want you to get this. If you are able to hear your child speak, you are at a very high level of spirituality at that point, okay? You are at a very high level of spirituality at that point, okay? Your spirit is very wide open, and you up there. And the killing part is, you might not even feel it. You're not going to know that you all the way up there like that. Because in order for you to hear that, you have to be on a certain level, okay? If your level is too low, you're not going to be able to hear it. You're not going to be able to hear it at all. You're not going to be able to hear it. Hey, what's going on, Wine? Hey, if y'all want to join in, just tell me, let me know. Type in there, join in. Type in the chat, join in. If y'all can hear me, show me that y'all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like. Yeah. So you gotta, when you going through this right here, you're gonna have to pay attention to what's going on up here. And as crazy as it sounds, you got to forget about your child for a second. And this right here is the whole reason why you in this situation right here, because you lost your child. Same thing for me. The reason why I'm in this situation, because I lost my child. And guess what? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I tried to look for help for this right here, y'all. Some people said go to grief counseling and all this other stuff. And did you get some type of therapy and all this other stuff like that right there? For me, absolutely not. I didn't go to grief counseling, and I didn't go to therapy. This is my therapy. Talking to y'all about it, talking to some people that I could possibly help about this right here. You know what I'm saying? That's my therapy in it. When I get somebody that I could talk to, that go through the same thing that I go through, and they can understand because they finally talking to somebody that went through the same thing that they went through, that right there is my therapy for me. And it been working out for me. It might not work out the same for you, but you do what best fits you. Don't let nobody tell you how you go by overcoming your grief, overcoming what you had to go through when you lost your child, because they don't know nothing. Them people don't know nothing if they ain't lost no child. I don't care how much they say that they understand what you're talking about. I don't care how much they tell you that they feel you and all this other stuff. You ask them a simple question. How did you feel when you lost your child? Oh, I didn't lose a child. Okay, well then you can't tell me that then. You can't tell me that you understand what I'm talking about. You can't tell me that. You cannot tell me that. It's just like a person that lost a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still have both of my parents. I don't know what that's like to lose a parent. You know what I'm saying? So for me to tell somebody, yeah, I understand I don't understand what you going through when talking about losing a parent. But if you're talking about losing a child, I can go and I can run you down that all day. I could talk to you about that right there all day long, baby. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, when when it all boiled down to it, it's gonna be everything is gonna fall back on you. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you that right now. Everything is gonna fall back on you. It's gonna be some stuff that you're gonna have to accept. That I'm telling you, if you don't accept it, you're gonna keep yourself in a grieving state. I had to accept a whole lot of stuff that I didn't want to accept, and one of the things that I had to accept that I just wasn't going to see my son on this realm again. And with that right there being said, that I couldn't see him on this realm right here, when I was able to see my son again, it was in like a dream. It was in a daydream. It was what you would call in your mind or something like that. And at that point, because I was seeing that right there quite often, actually, that right there, I didn't know that right there was me connecting with this man spiritually. I did not know that. That right there was a spiritual connection. We like to write that stuff off because you think about this child of yours, and they say, "Oh, it's just in the mind and stuff like that." Yeah, it is just in the mind. That's where you meet at, in the mind. That's where you meet at, in the mind. Period. It's just this physical meat suit that we got on right here that we're not gonna see. You see what I mean? That's how you gonna connect with him. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right here. Once you connect with that right there, and you get this right here, down pat. Once you get this right here down pat, I'm gonna try to tell you something right there. You're gonna see everything like this right here. So I had to look at this and I said, wait a minute. That right there, I was talking to one of my siblings earlier, and I was telling her, I was explaining to her, I said, hey, listen, that right there, when I lost Junior, that right there was probably a way to get me to come and see what was over here on the spiritual world. Come up out that that earthly stuff that you used to listening to. Come up out that right there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very careful when you're dealing with this stuff right here, because when you lose your child, your spirit is so high. And I believe that some people actually thought this stuff out a long time ago, because when your spirit get that high, you start finding out stuff about yourself that you didn't even know. When your spirit is that high, you start finding out stuff about your spirit and other spirits that you did not know. And see, one of the things that will block you from seeing that is when you take your mind back to that funeral, when you take your mind back to them burial grounds, when you take your mind back to how you last seen your child before any of this stuff right here was able to be dressed up and all pretty looking and all the other stuff. The last time you seen your child, that right there is what typically flashes around your mind. And what that right there does, for what it did for me, was it stopped me. It kind of like prevented me a little bit from being able to connect spiritually with him. You see what I'm saying? Because I was too worried. I was too worried about him, my son, the pain that he felt and all that other stuff. And I thought about, wait a minute, did he really feel that pain? Probably not. Probably didn't feel it. He was gone. Okay. So when I started to notice that wait a minute, probably didn't feel nothing. Typically when you feel pain, you say something, right? My son said nothing. There was no tears, there was no crying. That was nothing. And a lot of y'all probably say, well, yeah, that was because he was deceased already. Well, that means he didn't feel it. See, we got to take this stuff moment by moment. A lot of these people say day by day and all this other stuff. A lot of these people say that. Yes, you can, Diane. A lot of these people say that, hey, this right here is a day by day. We need you to take it easy. Don't worry about this. And I'm trying to tell you, listen, it's not a day-by-day situation, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all that it's not a day-by-day situation. This right here is a moment by moment. That's how that works. It's a moment by moment. There is no day by day. It's a moment by moment at times. And when that moment, sometimes some moments are heavier than others. I'm going to let you know that right now. Some of those moments are heavier than others. See? It's up to you. It's going to be up to you to decide on how you handle this right here. Ultimately, it's gonna be up to you to decide on how you handle this right here. Ultimately, but to see somebody go through that right there, for me, just for me, to see somebody go through that right there and be stuck in that ball of grief like that, and to know that if you're not paying attention, that you can miss the message. Yeah, I think I need to say something to y'all about that right there, because this right here is one of the ways that I got to see the bigger picture, man. I got to see, I got to see and hear stuff that I probably wouldn't have seen or heard because I had to start paying attention. You get it? It's in the refrigerator. You want some more? You get it? Around that time, I had to stay away from the alcohol. Absolutely, because that right there, the only thing that do is turn your stuff up. That's all it do. That's all it's gonna do, is gonna turn you up, baby. And it ain't gonna turn you up for the good. It's gonna be stuff that you're gonna have to pay attention to. People that you are going to have to pay attention to. And you're gonna learn a lot about these people that's around you. Because now that you focus on your child's spirit, you're gonna start to see this spirit right here in everybody. That's what you're gonna have to pay attention to. Because I'm telling you, again, some of these people that's gonna be around you, they're around you because they want to see how you gonna react. Some of them, they're not really there for to help you out with support and stuff like that. They want to see how you gonna react. They want to see how you gonna handle this right here. They want to see how you gonna go by doing this stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, it be like that right there at times. You gonna notice all that stuff. The stuff that you was that once before that you wasn't paying attention to is going to be so clear to you, and you going to accept it as face value. You ain't going to look at this stuff like they trying to think of something else or something. No, nope. You going to take whatever it is at face value, because this is where you at now, okay? This is where you at. Your child is gone already. That's done, okay? This is where you at right now, and you got to focus on you at this point and what your spirit is telling you. You know what I mean? That's where you at. You know, that's where you at with it. Flat out. That's where you at. And so because of the way that I felt for the holidays last year, when this holiday came around and my daughter got to opening up all her gifts and all that other stuff, yeah, I was down there with them for a minute, just for a minute. And then after that, I drug my behind right back upstairs. And I stayed there for the whole entire day. I wasn't hanging around. I wasn't listening to Christmas carols and all that Christmas music and all that other crap. I wasn't doing it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't have the energy to do it. I ain't none of that stuff. Like I said, I ain't want to do no Christmas shopping. I ain't want to spend no money on nothing. I didn't want to do it at all. And you know, that right there is something that you're going to have to pay attention to as well, because that's one of the ways that evil spirit get up in there. You know what I'm saying? Now you stuck in all your grief and all this other stuff because you done set yourself up. You done bought all these gifts, and now ain't but one of your kids opening up all these gifts. The other one ain't there to open up no gifts. And you feel a certain way. You could make yourself feel a certain way. Well, this year right here, I was able to keep everything straight. There wasn't no tears this year. That didn't say that I didn't feel anything, because last year it was a bunch. I had a bunch last year. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bunch. It was a bunch last year. So if you got around to your second year of stream of holidays and you didn't have to go through that right there, please acknowledge that. That's another thing you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to acknowledge your growth, man. And it's gonna be little by little. It's not gonna be big chunks, okay? It's going to be little chunks. It's going to be little pieces that you're going to have to acknowledge when you do that. You're going to have to acknowledge that right there as you grow. You know, that's what you're going to do. You're going to acknowledge that right there as you grow, because what happens is that's how you gonna see where your growth lied at. Hold on 1 second. Try to set something up so I don't have to hold this thing no more. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Hold up. Sorry, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to set something up. Okay. There we go. There we go. See what I mean? So, yeah, that's what you want to do. If you can help it. If you can help it. Okay? What you want to do is what I didn't do was I tried for me, I tried not to put myself in a situation where I could find myself bringing the house down, okay? And I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna be some people that ain't gonna be no fans of that, okay? There's gonna be some people that's not gonna be some fans of that right there because some people gonna call you selfish. Yeah. Some people gonna call you selfish. I done been called all that stuff. Selfish and thank God that they got a mother. Thank God that they got a mother because you selfish. And all this other stuff because, you figured that, hey, I don't want to celebrate this stuff right here. I ain't in the mood to celebrate this stuff. And they say, well, it ain't about you. It's about your kids and all this other stuff. Well, it's absolutely about you. I don't care what nobody says. It's absolutely about you, okay? Because your kid ain't feeling what you feeling. They not. It is absolutely about you. So, yeah. That's what I mean. You can't let nobody tell you how to grieve and which way that you want to go and do this stuff right here. No, you don't do that. Nope. They can't tell you how to grieve. Don't let nobody tell you how to grieve. Some of y'all losing y'all child days before Christmas, weeks before Christmas. For me, it was probably about a month and a half or so before Christmas. It was a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Look, they don't know nothing, okay? We can't be listening to those people that sit up there and, no, we not doing that, okay? I listen, go down my TikTok, okay? I want y'all to go down and look at the comments, okay? That y'all see. Read some of those comments, okay? I'm gonna tell you something. It's comments that actually help me. And there's some in there that's gonna help y'all. That's why I say this right here, this right here will be a safe space where we could talk about this stuff. And like I said, I understand why people don't talk about it. It's painful. It's painful to talk about. And if you don't understand what's going on, you're not really gonna be able to help. You really can't help. In many cases, if you want to help, sometimes you can be there and do this. You want to help that person, you be there and you do this. You hush. You be quiet. Okay? Sometimes that's the best way that you can help them because you can't say the right stuff. There's no right words that you can say that's going to help this situation. It's not. It's not. I'm telling you from experience. There is no way. There's no right way that you could say anything that's going to help that healing. That's going to make that person feel better. You get it? Your presence is good enough. Your presence is good enough, okay? I'm telling you, the stuff that you're going to feel. Now, check it out. Probably the biggest holiday of this year, Christmas, that's over with. But guess what? We got another one coming around now. We got another one coming around. Now, it might not hit like Christmas hit, but it still will hit. It's still going to hit. And that right there is coming around. We got what? Less than a week. And then it'll be a new year, according to the calendar. It'll be a new year, okay? Remember how you felt on Christmas. Remember how you felt on Thanksgiving. Remember how you felt when you went Christmas shopping, if you went Christmas shopping, okay? You remember all that stuff right there. You put it together and ask yourself, do you still want to continue to feel that way? See, some of this stuff, like I said before, once upon a time, I would say, if you can hold it, because that right there give you some type of strength. You can't fold every single time you feel this stuff. You can't fold. This right here time of year is different. That bad boy hit different. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. That bad boy hit different. I ain't gonna sit up there and be in no position to sit up there and tell y'all, hey, don't hold it in and all. Nope. You're gonna release that right there. Sometimes that pressure gotta be released so you can move a little better. But if you don't release that pressure every now and then, you're gonna go crazy up here. It's gonna take you out. This is where you operating from here on out. Right here. This is where you are operating from. Okay? Many might not get that because they used to you operating from a physical standpoint. You're not operating from that standpoint like that no more, because when you found out that your child was gone, you didn't even see the world that way no more. You didn't see none of that stuff. None of this right here stuff looked the same. Everything was still physically the same, but nothing looked the same. Nothing looked the same. It was tight. It was painful. It was numbing at times. You ain't had the right words. You couldn't say nothing. And what was really more painful was when you was expecting that child of yours to come walking out that room and they didn't come. And when you went there, they wasn't there. See, that's the type of stuff that don't nobody get a chance to see. That's the type of stuff that don't nobody get a chance to experience. The ones that's telling you to hold tight. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's telling you that everything gonna be all right. Oh, the house with the Lord and all this other stuff that, you don't want to hear none of that church Jesus stuff. You don't want to hear none of that religious stuff, okay? None of that stuff ain't even hitting right anyway. You don't want to hear none of it. And some people, they don't know what to say to you. They're going to come with them scriptures, baby. You ain't trying to hear none of it. You ain't trying to hear none of it. It ain't hitting, okay? When I'm going to tell you what's going to hit you. Again, when that first 24 hours rolled through this joint and that child of yours stayed with you and you not seeing that child that very next day, that is what hit you. When you trying to figure out, is this right here really real? You up here pinching yourself trying to see if this right here is just a dream. Getting all these phone calls that you about to get. Having to jump these hurdles. Being cool 1 minute, the next minute you out of it. Hiding the way that you want to feel your emotions, your energy. Trying to hide it. Because you're around people. You're around your family. You don't want nobody to see you all tore up and tore out like that. That's when stuff get real. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through medical examiners and identifying and going to make service arrangements and signing your child over and all the other stuff. That's when stuff get real. Okay? Ain't nobody been through that right there. They can't tell you nothing. They can't tell you shit. Okay? They can't tell you that. That's why I said you can't be listening to some of these people because they don't know shit. They don't know nothing. Okay? They don't know what you feeling like. They don't know what it's like to expect your child to be walking about that room the very next day and there's nothing there. When you thought that this right here was just a dream because you can't believe what just happened, right? They don't know that. They don't know that feeling, okay? They don't know that feeling. You do. You know that feeling. And it's tight. You know, it's tight. Show me some love in here, y'all. Give me some love. Show me some love up in here. I know y'all in here. Show me some love. And see, what I tried to do beforehand, before this holiday season came, was I tried to forewarn a lot of y'all. I did. Because I didn't know that last year when this right here was happening, I did not know that it was gonna hit that hard. So based upon what happened last year, I put that right there together and said, hey, by this time again next year, I'm not about to be feeling like this. I'm not about to be feeling like this right here. That's the reason why for me, I went all in the beginning. I sure did. I went in the beginning. I went in. I wanted to see everything. Whatever I missed that I wasn't able to see initially when it came down to my son initially, what I didn't see at the scene, I made sure I seen an autopsy. And again, I got them. And I got those pictures, Jack. And I'm telling you, I seen them pictures twice. I looked at them pictures twice. And I don't like looking at those pictures, so I don't look at them at all. I don't visit that area. I do not recommend you do that. I don't recommend you do that. And you keep that to yourself. Don't go showing that stuff off to nobody like that. Like, hey, you keep that right there to yourself. And I'm talking about your significant other, if you can help it. See, that's what I did to try to protect my significant other. I did not allow her to see those pictures. Absolutely not. You will have to find those. You have to go deep searching and look for them to find those pictures. Because I'm not about to show it to you. Absolutely not. That right there took too long to leave my head. Every time I seen them, it took too long to leave my head. The vision. You know what I'm saying? It took too long. It took too long. I don't recommend y'all do that. I do not recommend y'all do it. I promise you. I promise you. I do not recommend y'all do that. I don't. But I would like to hear some of y'all stories though. How did y'all handle this right here, this Christmas? How did y'all go by doing it, baby? Because I'm going to tell you, for me, I stayed away from everybody. It didn't look good toward the family. I know it didn't, but I wasn't feeling it. And so I stayed away. I sure did. I stayed upstairs all day long. That's what I did. I didn't participate like I normally would under normal circumstances. And that was just to protect me. I was thinking about me. That's right. I was stingy. I was very stingy. I wasn't thinking about nobody else. I wasn't thinking about my daughter. I wasn't thinking about their mama. I wasn't thinking about the other kids. I wasn't thinking about my parents. I wasn't thinking about my grandparents. I wasn't thinking about nobody but me. What you doing, man? That's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about nobody but me. And that's just the way it was. And that was just the way it was going to have to be. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, because you're the one that's going through this right here. You're going to have to think about you're going to have to think about yourself. That's what you're going to have to think about. Because you're the one that got to heal and recover from this right here. Again, your child got somewhere to be already. They straight. I can promise you they straight. They straight. And if you listen hard enough, they'll tell you that. They will tell you that, hey, I'm good, I'm straight. They'll tell you, I'm straight. And it's up to you to listen for it. But if you're not in a place up here to listen for it, you're gonna miss it. And a lot of times when you're gonna miss it is because you thinking of the worst part of what you seen. You thinking of that worst part of what you seen. You looking back at that service. That's why I say, man, y'all be careful. After my son's service, it was like, man, let me tell you something, man. I don't see myself going to nobody else's service, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. After that right there, Jack, I do not see myself going to nobody else's service. Not at all. I don't see myself doing that because the imprint that leaves on you mentally, it make it harder for you to get over that right there. If it ain't one thing, you already grieving the fact that this person is gone. The best thing to do is at that point is to leave it at that if you can. And if you could skip that funeral service, man, skip it. That's tough to say, but start your healing process, and remember your child the way you seen them last. Because see, for us, we had no choice. Half this boy's stuff was gone. His face, it was dismembered, so he had to have a closed coffin. But something bright came out of that. And you know what that was? The bright idea was to wrap that coffin. So when we wrapped his coffin with one of his favorite cartoon characters and put his face on it and everything, guess what? That helped out a lot, because now you look in the image that you get, you know what I'm saying? It didn't hit you that hard mentally to actually see somebody looking like they sleep. See what I'm saying? So that actually helped. And in many cases, even if you don't have to have a closed coffin or something like that, I would recommend you go that route. If you're going to have a service, I really would. I said that many times in previous videos that I've done about the wrapping of the coffin and stuff like that. I've always said, hey, after that happened with my child and we wrapped the coffin, that right there was much more easier to the eye, to the spirit, okay? To see that right there versus an open coffin. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah, that was much more easier, because now you get a chance to see that person, in a better state. You know what I'm saying? Period. Like when you got ready to make the obituaries, what kind of picture did you use? You ain't find the worst picture. You wouldn't find the best picture that you could find to put on that obituary. And I'm telling you, you could do the same thing with that coffin, baby. Wrap that coffin up and hey, leave that bad boy closed so you can see. It make it much more easier with the spirit, man. I'm telling you, it does. It help a lot more with the spirit. Help a lot more with the spirit. It helps. But it's like I said, the way that you move about this right here is going to be the way that you move about it. I was just trying to, give everybody the heads up before the holiday came around on what was going to happen. Because that last holiday, I noticed that it was something that kept on jabbing at me. I just didn't know what it was. I couldn't quite put my hand on it, couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that was jabbing at me like that right there. And it was these spirits, man. And like I said, that don't necessarily mean that they're evil spirits, but you're going to get some spirits that's they going to be jabbing at you, and you ain't going to know what it is because you're too hung down in your grief. You keep worrying about your child. And like I said, I know you can't help it. In a lot of cases, you can't help what comes to your mind, but you're going to have to hold yourself accountable for what you think. Again, you're not going to be able to control what comes to your mind, but you're going to have to hold yourself accountable to how you think about it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it ain't going to be the right word. I'm going to tell you something else. You're going to have some spirit guides that's going to talk to you as well. And when I tell you that you are going to have spirit guides that's going to talk to you, these people are not there. These spirits are not there to pat you on your back like you're gonna have your physical meat friends. You see what I'm saying? The people that's gonna come and say, "Hey, I know I can't imagine what you're going through right now, but the Lord is gonna be with you. and you will get through this, and you will smile again one day, and they rubbing you and patting you on your back and giving you the biggest hugs. That's not the way that these spirit guides work. These spirit guides, they don't care nothing about no death, because for them there is no death. These are going to be some of the ones that's going to talk to you, and they going to talk to you rough. It's going to sound like some rough patches. That's why I said you're going to want to connect yourself spiritually. You want to be kind of like tuned in, so you would know if you listening to a demon or if you listening to your angel, because they on the same realm now. They on the same realm. And so you don't know if you listening to a demon or if you listening to a spirit guide. And again, like I told you, the way I decipher that, the way I know if I'm talking to one or the other, is because one of them give you a solution. One of them give you a solution. Not all of them demons, they not going to give you no solution. They ain't going to give you no fake solution. You know what I'm saying? The solution that they're going to give you is not going to work out in your favor. Like I said, for as an example, when I found myself in my most down moments, when I should have known better, like me, it's like I know better. I know better. That's just, I know better now. At this point, I know better. So when them moments come around and it hit you, you know what I'm saying, at a random, you know, when it just randomly hit you. When those things come around randomly, if I fell into that right there, what would happen is typically I would get a message. If it's a spirit guide or angel or whatever you want to call it, if it's one of them, it's like they just be standing by like this right here. It's like they standing by. They standing by. You down, you out, right? You out of it. What your spirit guide is doing, they standing by. These jokers standing by, they like, you done yet? When you gonna stop doing this right here to yourself? You know you're the only one doing this right here to yourself, right? You ain't gonna see him no more on this realm right here, and you know how you got to get in touch with him. So why you doing this to yourself? Why do you keep on pulling yourself down like this? This is what you gonna hear. That's what I heard. You might hear something different. But what I mean, the reason why I'm pointing that out is because somewhere in there was a solution in there. You see, and you didn't hear it, depending on which way you listening to it. You didn't hear the solution in there. The solution was stop doing it, because you're tearing yourself up. And if you're being real with yourself, you will say, yeah, that's absolutely right. You see what I'm saying? It just came at a time where you wasn't trying to hear it. It came at a time when you was at your lowest, where your energy was at its lowest. So you wasn't trying to hear it at that time. And you're going to hear that once you lock into that voice right there that I was just telling you about. Once you lock into that voice that I'm telling you about, guess what? You're going to hear that voice a lot more often. You're going to hear it. And it's going to mainly come around. For me, that voice was coming around every time I felt like that energy was about to hit. Every time I felt like it all that energy started rushing, it felt like I was getting ready to bring the house down. Like I said, bring the house down. That energy came, baby. And it was like, sometimes I just wanted to say, man, would you just shut up and let me do this? That's the way at times it made me want to say that stuff. Man, would you just shut up and let me do this right here, man? I don't want to hear that. That's the way it make you want to feel at times, because that's when they come every time. But it's for your own good. Again, that demon on the other end, it's not going to tell you none of that. That demon ain't going to tell you that you hurting yourself. That demon ain't going to say that. It's going to keep on digging that knife in further and further and further about your child not being there, about the passing of your child, the last time you seen them, the coffins, the funerals, the funeral homes, the hearses, the graves, and all that other stuff. And it don't give you no solution to tag along with that, because that right there will go against its entire nature as a demon or an evil spirit. It will go against its nature for them to give you some type of solution while you going through your down part. And that's why I be trying to tell y'all, listen for that stuff, man. If you trying to heal yourself, if you trying to get up out this stuff right here and you're not trying to live in this right here, that's what you want to listen to, because there's some people out here that have been going through this stuff for years that's not trying to get up out this stuff. And they wound up hurting themselves and being in this stuff for years and years and years and years, you know, very long time, you know, because they not doing the work, you see, and not doing the work. You will stay in this right here, not paying attention to that voice that you're listening to. You will stay in this right here. You see, some people, hey, listen, the ones that have not did the work, you will know. Trust me. Because this work right here, what it's going to do, it's going to cut you away from them parties that you was going to. When you do this work right here, it's going to cut you away from them parties. It's going to cut you away from all the negativity for the majority of it. It's going to keep you away from all them negative conversations that you used to have. It's going to keep you from arguing unnecessarily with people that you probably would have normally argued with. It's going to keep you separated in silence, alone by yourself, if you're trying to do the work, okay? Your circle is going to get that much more smaller, and you're not going to be able to talk to nobody. You ain't going to be able to do none of that stuff right there, because you figuring something out. That's what you're doing. You figuring something out right now. Okay? You figuring something out. And what you are trying to figure out is that spirit that's within you. You trying to figure out, where do I go from here? Where do I start? I didn't know where to start at. I promise you. You know, I didn't know where to start at in here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. Let me see. Oh, well, I can't invite. I'm trying to invite some people. But anywho, I didn't know, where to start. Oh shoot. Let me see. I didn't know where to start. Something's in my ear. Uh, what happened? Yeah, I didn't know where to start at initially. I didn't. And what happened was, because I didn't know where to start, I'm gonna tell you where I learned where I started at. Let me tell you where I started at. I started I started um when I heard my son tell me that he was okay. Once I heard my son tell me that he was okay, that's when I started. That's when I started that's when I started my healing process. When I heard my son tell me that he was okay, and I was able to um actually listen and confirm it through other people. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you're gonna have to start using confirmations too. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff right here, when you're gonna have to start using confirmation. So in other words, what I mean by confirmations, or some people might say affirmations. I say confirmations. But when you're gonna have to start confirming this stuff, and how you confirm it is because you're gonna hear something at some point. You're gonna hear something, and when you hear this right here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look for a confirmation behind that. Something's gonna happen. I don't care what it is. Something's gonna happen. And like I said, you're gonna find your confirmations, your confirmations that you're gonna find. The confirmation that you're gonna find, um, they gonna come randomly. You might not get your answer right then and there. Okay, you might not get your answer right then and there with the confirmation. What's gonna happen is you're gonna get your answer through a radio song, you're gonna get it through a commercial, you're gonna get it through somebody that you're gonna overhear talking to somebody else. It's gonna come from, you're gonna be in a store or something like that. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to listen for your confirmations in different ways. Like, I was at a meeting one day with my sister, and I felt like my son was with me. I felt like he was with me. And I told her, yeah, he with me right now. I could feel him. See, you gonna go through your, hold on, man, I'm on the live. You gonna feel it. You gonna feel the energy, okay? You gonna feel the energy. This is how you gonna have to recognize them from now on. You're gonna have to recognize them through energy. Okay? Now, when you recognize them through energy, once you recognize, I got through off, y'all. Once you recognize your child and you recognize them through energy, you see what I'm saying? That's how you gonna know that that's your child. It's just gonna be a feeling that you get, and it's gonna be undeniable. So you don't have to think about whether or not this is it or not. Okay, you ain't gonna have to think about it. It's gonna be that's how you gonna know that is your child. You ain't gonna have to think about it because the energy gonna be so strong. You gonna feel it. You know how your kids feel. You know the energy from your kid. You gonna feel it, and that's gonna take some practice too. Now, that's gonna take some practice. Um, hold on 1 second. Y'all can keep my door locked. I'm on the live, okay? Y'all be interrupting my live when y'all do that stuff, hollering upstairs.
Hey Jerome, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can
This
hear you. What's
Michelle.
going
This
on?
your sister
Hey,
Michelle.
what's going on? What's going on,
Hey,
Shell, baby?
glad I caught you live tonight.
Oh man, I'm glad you on. You was one of the ones that was going through the same thing as well. You one of the ones that do the work.
Yeah, I'm 6 months in.
Ooh wee, 6 months, 6 months. And
Mhm.
you know what? See, how did your holiday go? How did you handle that?
Christmas was better than Thanksgiving, I think, because Thanksgiving is both my son's and my favorite holiday. So I had a hard time for Thanksgiving. Christmas, we're
Okay,
not big celebrators of Christmas. So I think that helped. But I also didn't do social media yesterday.
I
And I
didn't.
did a little bit of work before the holiday came and just told myself to navigate Christmas as if it's any other day and not put so much emphasis on it being a holiday. So I had a few small breakdowns, but nothing close to Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So um, it was a little worse Thanksgiving than Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. And I think also because my
Hold on, let me see.
son
I can't. I
was
think I lost the volume. Hold on.
okay.
Okay, no, you back. You back.
Yeah, I was just saying also maybe because my son was 36 and so Christmas, with him being an adult, celebrating Christmas isn't quite the same, if that makes sense.
Because he was an adult, but I mean, it's still your child.
Yeah, but he was my only child, so every day was Christmas. You know what I mean?
And see that was something else too, man. That was something else. that was something else too that um that I pointed out before in one of my lives before, about the ones that lost a child, man, the only child. You see what I'm saying? Like how that right there, I knew how I felt when I lost one child. Like I said, I lost one child. And that right there is not to say that, is anything less than losing your only child, but you lost your only child, man.
Yeah.
And that right there, see, that's the type of stuff that I be talking about right there. This right here is what helps people out, not off of your pain or anything like that, but it helps people out because I thought I was in a bad situation. And there's people like yourself that will say that, hey, you know what? I lost my only child. You see what I'm saying? And I take that right there into consideration because just the thought of it's like you almost in this world by yourself.
And that's how I feel.
I would feel that way.
I mean,
Real talk.
luckily for me, I'm already a loner. I'm a loner and I'm a homebody. So that part of being alone wasn't new to me, but not having him walk through the door means not having anybody walk through the door. So it makes being a loner, which I was naturally used to, feel even lonelier in a different way.
Got you, man. So let me ask you this right here. When when um when Christmas time, I mean, excuse me, not Christmas time, when Thanksgiving time came around, you said that right there was pretty hard for you. I get that right there.
Yeah,
Is was when Thanksgiving came around and that was pretty hard for you, like what did you mainly try to do to offset the grief?
I
What was
didn't. I didn't. I let myself feel everything. That's been what's been helpful to me in a weird kind of way is just not trying to push it down.
okay?
I just let myself do, feel, think, react. However that move hits, I just let it happen. I let it play out. And I find the more I do that, the more it clears out my mind. I'm not suppressing any feelings. I threw my phone down one day, cracked it back. I didn't care. I just allow myself to feel all of it because I feel like if I don't, at some point I'll explode.
Exactly what would happen. That's what
Yeah.
happened, and that's the reason why I, at times, like I say, is good to release that energy. Is good to release that pain at times. The reason why I say for me, hold on one second. The reason why I typically say um don't release it all the time because you got to build some strength. And if you're releasing it all the time like that right there, you will never be able to build that strength. You see what I'm saying? It is always going to be a weak point somewhere in there. And for me, I had to, I had to build off of those weak points to, to strengthen it up because I had to, I told myself, I said, you know what? If I don't strengthen myself up right now, what's going to wind up happening is some people are going to try to take that and use that against you. That's a vulnerable spot for you to be in. That's very vulnerable. You don't want to be in no vulnerable spot. That's not a good spot to be in.
But
You
don't
don't
you
want
think
to.
we're vulnerable anyway? I mean, this
Nah.
is this is something. This is a different type of loss for us bereaved parents. I mean,
Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm just thinking we're vulnerable anyway. I find myself doing and saying and expressing in ways I've never done before. The fact that I'm even on this live, you know what I mean? I'm just going through the motions. But I find that me letting it off, letting that, as you said, that bad demon, as long as I'm letting it out, it can't overpower me.
But see, you recognizing it first though,
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
and you can feel it when you can feel it when it start to come in. Can you?
When it rises, so what I've learned to do is to sit with it, identify it, acknowledge it, and this is what I do. I say, okay, wave, come on, because I know it's coming. Come on. And so I just sit. I put one hand on my chest, I put one hand on my stomach, and I just breathe through it. And it's like once I do that, I'm fine. I go in there, wash dishes. I go run an errand. I'm fine as long as I learn to ride the grief wave versus trying to brush it under the rug. And maybe that's just the mother in me. Just
That right
that's
there
been
is the
my
way that
best
you
way
go
to
by
cope.
doing it. That's why I say the way that we go by doing this stuff right here, my way is not gonna work for everybody. I don't
Mm-mm.
have a for me, and I wanna make sure that I get this right here clear to my audience that's out there and to the ones that's listening to us. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't have all the answers. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. I just get on here and I express from my point of view. You see what I'm saying? I don't have the answers to this stuff right here. This right here is not a one size fit all type of deal.
Nope.
And I try to tell people that right there is this right
Yeah.
here is not a one size fit all deal. You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? This right here is something that is it's a person by person. It's a moment by moment, person by person, and however you go by doing it. So in your case, like you said, you sit there and you wait for it to come, and then whenever you deal with it that way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? For me, I'm gonna handle that right there a different way as well, because what I don't want to do, like I said, being vulnerable, if you can help your vulnerability. You can. By the way that you go by handling your situation. For me, I don't like to be in a vulnerable situation, so to say, because just to me, when you are vulnerable, that right there is a sign of weakness for me. This don't work for everybody else. So if I'm not trying to insult nobody, but for me, that right there, to be in a vulnerable spot, just in its nature by default, that right there is a form of weakness. That's not to say that you are weak. You see what I'm saying? I don't like to be in that spot. I don't like to be in that spot. That right there, when I'm down there in the vulnerability area, that's like me being down there in the grief area. Ain't nothing good down there in that area to me. Don't nothing good come in to me when I'm in that state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Again, when you a victim, that means something that happened to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to be in victim status. I understand.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
I
agree with
lost
you
my
on that.
child.
I don't like that word. Victim does. I don't like feeling like a victim either.
Thank you.
But
That's
I
where I'm
will.
going.
But I will allow myself to feel. What I don't do. I don't allow that feeling to overcome or take over my day. I let that feeling come so that it can go, so that I can get through my day and stop letting grief dictate my entire day or my entire mood.
That's
So
right. You
it's
can't
like
let.
going to the beach. You know how you go to the beach, you sitting on the beach and the wave come in as quick as it come in, it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at my grief, as a wave. It comes about as quick as it comes, it goes. And it does not sit with me all day, thankfully.
Mm. Well, see, I'm glad you said that right there, because when I see that same wave coming, what comes to my mind is my spirit guide. I got a strong spirit guide with me, baby, and I'm trying to tell you that bad boy. Hey, that joker tell me, hey, listen, here it come. It's like okay, you see it coming. Here it come. Here it comes. You know it's about to come. Be careful now. Don't do it. You don't work too hard on yourself to fall back. Don't you do it.
Do
Don't you
you
do it.
think because you're further along in your grief journey that you've come to that as a way to condition and help you get through? Because I'm still my wound is still wide open. So this is what I found has been the best coping for me right now. Now I'm not saying that won't change,
Oh
but
no,
for
no.
now, yeah.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna tell you what got me to that point though, because like I said, for the first couple of months, um, into this journey right here, for the first couple of months, what happened? I didn't know which way to turn. I didn't know how to start the recovery process. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know how to start that. What happened was when I heard my son tell me that he was not there, and I'm talking about at the scene of the accident.
Mhm.
When he told me he wasn't there, and I heard this so clearly, I mean, I heard it so clear. He may as well have been standing right next to me and said that.
Mm-hmm.
It made me question, am I hearing this right? And I'm,
Mm-hmm.
my spirit talking back to him. Okay, well then where were you? He said, I was with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said that right there, he kept what to kind of like, this is what I mean by confirmation, or some people might say affirmation. What I mean by confirmation, I was able to confirm that through his mother, because we was sitting up here at the same time, you know, chit chatting, and it came, something was repeated. See, that's what happened
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
He kept on repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over, so much to the point to where I had to ask his mama, do you got a hoodie?
Mm-hmm.
Do you got a gray hoodie or something like that? And that's the only thing I asked. And Jack, she fired off. Yeah, you got a gray hoodie with a greenness, and there's this color green, and it was dot 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 dot, and everything that she was saying, every single thing. And she didn't know this. She didn't know this. She ain't know what I had heard. I just asked a general question because it kept on. He kept repeating it, repeating it, repeating it, and she explained the way that she explained that hoodie that he was talking about. That was the same picture that I had up here. She explained the picture that I had in my head, and she didn't even know that she was doing it. And that right there is what I mean by confirmation. So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was him at that point, because it's something that she explaining that she have no idea, that's caught up here, that he's telling me about right now as we are speaking. And it was like, wait a minute, I know that had to be him at this point. If I thought it was him at one point and I wasn't sure, she just confirmed it when she started giving me the description of the hoodie. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about, that we have to look out for, listen out for, so we can get our confirmations. You know what I'm saying? Make sure, if you had any thought that your child was talking to you, if you thought that this was them, I don't want you to write that off and say, no, it's just my imagination. It was just in my mind. Maybe I just, no, it's not that. No, they were. And this right here is where the practice and the work come in at, because you have to focus and you have to know that this right here is your child. And like I said, it's going to come in the form of energy at this point. At this point, it's going to come in the form of energy. And this right here is what really brought me to this spirit stuff, to this energy stuff. And because once I felt that right there, it was like, okay, wait a minute. I felt better. That right there it really did make me feel better when I heard him say that. When I heard him say that, that made me feel better. And then what it did was it drew me in more to try to connect again and say, hey, wait a minute. It drew me in again to say, hey, wait a minute. If that right there is what it takes to get through to him, then I need to study more on this end right here. And I started doing it. So I'm like, I started looking and everything I started looking at different sources, trying to find different videos and looking up different things on the internet. Man, I wasn't getting nothing. Nobody was on the internet talking like I'm talking right now. I couldn't find nobody to do it. So I just said, forget it. And I just started opening up a lane. I started getting on Facebook and I started talking about it. My sister said, hey, go on TikTok. I'm like, man, I ain't jumping on no TikTok. I don't know nothing about no TikTok and all the other stuff. Like right now, this is the first live that I've ever did on TikTok where I actually interacted with somebody else on TikTok. You see what I'm saying? But doing this right here, this guy right here, had it not been for that, who knows? You see, I had to open up different lanes and stuff like that, just listening, testing the waters on different things. And I started talking about it, and it became my way of therapy for me. So like I said, what worked for me probably won't work for nobody else. And just like you just said, you got your ways that you go by, getting over your grief, or working with your grief, or your loss, right? Now, with what you just said, from your perspective, guess what? You just helped somebody.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt
You
that.
just helped somebody just by putting out your point of view and how you go by handling your issue, your stuff. You just help somebody out. And this is one of the reasons, like I said, like I really start to really dig into doing this right here stuff, because I was just telling my side of the story. I didn't know I was helping people out in the process. And so
Mm-hmm.
when more and more people start to talk and more people start to come out with it, it was like, it was for some of these people, it was like a relief.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They can actually get this stuff off their chest. They can talk to somebody that actually knew what they were talking about, that actually knew from experience. You know what I'm saying? Versus somebody that ain't been through nothing. Cause them people right there, the ones that ain't been through nothing, they got the most to say. I can promise you that.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, they got the most to say. And sometimes they think that they telling you some good stuff, and they only make it's not, it's not really hitting the pressure points like it's supposed to. But
Yeah.
when you speak and you give your way on what it is that you do to overcome or deal with what you're dealing with, that helps somebody out. Because I'm telling you, it's many of people in here. I just responded to somebody in one of my videos. They lost their child 17 days ago.
Mm.
17 days ago. When I was 17 days in, do you know what my mind was? 17 days in.
Mm.
And then now you want to talk about around the holidays, the holiday season. This right here was gonna be the tightest. This right here, this time of year right here is what I want to, get on here and really try to really drill in. Listen, be careful, be careful, be careful. This stuff will make you hurt yourself.
Oh
It will.
yeah.
If you're not strong enough, you will hurt
Oh yeah.
yourself, man. And
Oh
people don't
yeah.
understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 17 days in, I remember saying, why am I still here? Like, that was my only child. So I've had that job as a mother for 36 years. So what am I supposed to be doing now when every decision I've ever made, it involved him? Every major life changing decision, whether it was a job or buying a home or going back to school, everything encompassed my son. So now that he's not here, it's like I have to find my new identity.
Yeah.
And I did not want to be here. So when you said that, you hit the ball out the park. I'm like, what am I here for?
I did.
Yep.
You want to leave right there with them.
Oh
And
yeah.
you ain't scared of that stuff no more. You're not scared of death no more. If you were scared of that stuff,
Mm-mm.
none of that mean nothing. I'm
Mm-mm. A
telling you,
lot of
just
stuff doesn't. The stuff that used
don't.
to matter to me is a drop in the bucket compared to losing a child. It's like I don't care. The sky can fall. I don't care.
Out. Flat out.
Somebody
Flat
can stick a
out.
gun to my head and say, "Give me all your money. I'm gonna blow your brains out." Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
like, you can't
I
hurt
heard.
me. You
I'm
can't
about to
hurt
put you
me.
right. Hey, I'm right there where I need to be at that point.
Exactly.
And people don't get it. They don't
Mm-mm.
get it, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't get it. That's why I was like, man, like when that right there happened, and I became so numb.
Yep.
It was like I really had to. I had to watch that right there too. Once
Oh
I
yeah.
once I finally got myself together and started trying to put myself back collectively. You know what I'm saying? It was like I had to get away from that because at that point I was just open to anything happening. I had to still remember, at least for me, I got other children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to take that into consideration. I just couldn't, just act like there wasn't other children that was involved because it was many other children that I had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? There was other family members and stuff that I had to deal with. It just wasn't me. But I'm gonna tell you though, when I first lost that boy, it felt like that was the only child I had at that point. It felt like it almost felt like I was in this world alone. I had to remind myself, hold on, man, you do know you got other kids, right?
Yep.
And I didn't want them right there to feel less than. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't want them to feel less than. But absolutely. And it just make you don't care. You don't have no care in the world. You know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying? And then another thing, after everything was all said and done and over with, for me, see, my son was young. He was 7 years old. And when he passed, after everything was all said and done, I couldn't go in that boy room and clean that boy room out like that. That was some other stuff that you had to deal with. For me, I had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So if you got, for the ones that done lost these kids and they young kids and stuff, and they got toys and they got bedroom, they got clothes and they dressers and all that other stuff, man. Hey, you got to clean that stuff out. You got to figure out if you're gonna get this stuff away, where it's gonna go. Some of this stuff you want to keep as souvenirs. You don't even want to touch some of this stuff. In some cases, you know what I'm saying? I tried to have their siblings, hey, clean out that room, man. Go ahead. I couldn't go in there
Yeah.
and do it. I
Yeah,
couldn't
my
go in there and do
son.
it.
Yeah, my son is my only child, but he has three siblings on his father's side. So I was like, whatever y'all want, come and get it. I had already gone through some of his more intimate, personal, like his watches and jewelry and stuff. I kept most of that stuff myself, but I let them have the other stuff that they wanted. But it's still stuff in there that I have to go through. But it's this, I don't know. It's a daily push. Every day is a push. I'm not gonna say every day is a struggle, but I guess some way you just gotta dig deep because that's where your power is really within yourself. It's no outside source that's going to pour this power into you to keep striving to get through each day, each night. It's something deep within your soul. You have to pull the strength from yourself.
Didn't know that at first. I was dealing with this right here like any normal other person was dealing with it at first. You know what I'm saying? I just know I had to be mindful at times when I decided to release some of this stuff right here because still got a mother. We both can't be down at the same time. One of us got to be strong when the other one is down. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? That's the way I seen it. You know, one of us had to be strong when the other one was down. So, like for me, when I was going through this right here, and it was times where I knew I was supposed to be strong, I did. I did, but it wasn't because from the outside looking in, you didn't see what I was feeling from the inside going out.
that's
It,
right.
it was totally something different. And you know, just like I said, just in talking to y'all, right? That stuff, it can hit sometime. It could be painful.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about this stuff at times. I said at times when I would talk about this, I said, well, this is why people don't talk about this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is why they don't do it. It's because that stuff, it hurts sometimes. It's painful at times. And my thing was, I already know what that feel like. I already know that, you know, ain't nothing I can do about it. My thing, it became from talking about it from being coming from a hurting point of view to now healing,
Mm-hmm.
healing. And like I said, paying attention to my surroundings, paying attention to the stuff that goes around me. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention to my inside and paying attention to your intuition, paying attention to them voices that you're going to hear up here. Because I'm telling you, me saying this stuff right here, I have to make it clear plenty of time. People going to think that you're crazy because, oh, he hearing stuff now. And all of a sudden he's hearing this and da, 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 da. But how many kids have you lost?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? How many kids have you lost like that to where you know, if you ain't had, you can't say that. You don't know nothing. That's why I be
That's
telling, man,
right.
you can't fall into listening to what other people say that ain't lost no kids because they don't know nothing.
Mm-mm.
They don't know nothing. They don't know what that feels like, man. I promise you they don't know what it feels like. I went at one point in time, man, me and my son used to go get our hair cut together. And when I lost him, I ain't want to go get my hair cut. You know
Mm-hmm.
that it was painful for me to go get my hair cut because I'm used to that boy being on the side.
Yep.
He was like that right there for what he got his hair cut like maybe what 2 or 3 years old. And
Yep.
from that point forward, every time I got my hair cut, he got his hair cut for the biggest end.
Right.
And like I said, he got his hair cut the night before he passed. The
Wow.
night before, and I was lazy on it too. It was one of those nights, Jack, where I was like, man, I just go do it tomorrow, man, when I get off work, man.
Mhm.
And then something said, no, just go ahead and do it tonight. So when you get off work tomorrow, y'all could just have whatever y'all got going on. You don't have to worry about it. And I said, well, all right. I got off work. Hey, Junior, come on, man. Let's go get our haircut. We went
Wow.
and got our haircut, and he told me how he wanted. I let him choose how he wanted to get his haircut. You want a taper? You want a ball fade? You want a ball taper? However you want to, whatever you want. And so I let him pick out his haircut, man. He got his haircut, and I seen that Joker that night. I ain't see him no more after that.
Wow.
I did not see him no more after that. That night when by the time he went to sleep that night, the next morning when I got up to go to work, it was, I wake up, let's say about 5:30, 5:45ish somewhere. I'm out the house by 6:45, something like that. I didn't go by his room and look in his room and none of that stuff. I expected to see him when I got home from work.
Yep.
But one thing that he did do, he did draw my Sonic like he told me he was going to do. He told me he was going to draw me a Sonic. And he did. He drew me a Sonic. He put it up. We had to find it. And he drew it for me. And we found it later on when we was cleaning out his room. I had his mother laminate it for me so it don't get messed up. And
Mhm.
that's one of the keepsakes that I keep. You know what I'm saying? Because he never got a chance to give it to me.
Right.
He never got a chance to give it to me. And I did not know that right there was gonna happen. That was something that you just don't expect. You don't plan to to pick up a phone call like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not something that you plan on doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not something I was on my way home when I got that message.
Mm.
I was literally on my way home. See, I was working in Toledo at the time. And so I was on my way home. I was already on 75 coming south. And as long as the police ain't around, baby, I'm locked in at about 80. I'm locked in at about 80 already. And then you get this message right here. Man, the van act like it don't want to pick up no speed
Mhm.
and all this
Yep.
other stuff, man. It's like everybody going too slow at this point. I look down at my needle. I'm at 95 at this point, and it seemed like everybody's still going too slow. So what I did was I politely just jumped inside this little construction lane where y'all got all this road tore up at, and the orange barrels is keeping all the traffic over here on the left, but over here, I mean on the right, and over here to the left is just an open lane over here by the wall. I opened that lane right on up. I'm not gonna lie, and there was a whole bunch of dust behind me, baby. I ain't playing, man. I rode that van so hard trying to get here, and because when I got the news, I was already driving at 80 miles an hour before I got the news. I was locked in good at 80 miles an hour. And when I got that news, baby, I'm talking about, man, I opened up that lane. You would have thought I was running from the police. And that was the thing. If I would have seen the police at that point, I'd have had a whole line of police behind me by the time I got to that scene. Because I got that news. When I got that news, I was about almost a half hour away. Give or take, a little more, a little less. I was a half hour away at 80 miles an hour. My van needed a cigarette by the time I got to the scene. That bad boy was shaking. Didn't know whether to stay running or cut off or anything. I ain't never rode that bad boy that hard like that. That bad boy needed a cigarette by the time I got to this scene. That bad boy was shaking so bad. And it almost like not to even recover behind that either, for real. But I drove that bad boy hard, man, when I got that news, man. And from that point, it was like I really didn't know which way to turn. I really didn't know. I ain't know nothing. We had it was people that was in that accident that went to different hospitals. Two of them went to Henry Ford. One of them went to Children's because my daughter, she had a seizure and she had to go and she don't have seizures. She haven't had one since. But at that time, she had a seizure. One of them was gone. The other two was in the hospital with broken necks, broken bones, broken, just crunched all up, and my daughter, she made it, she pulled through, but initially she was on life support. We almost lost her. We almost lost her too. Had head damage, bleeding under the brain. She had blood coming out her ear. Half her face was uneven. It was swollen and everything. She ain't know nothing. She didn't know anything. And so, we was dealing with that right there. That's why I tell y'all, man, we was a little bit everywhere, man. We had family members that was going over here to this hospital while the other family members was over here at this hospital. Man, there was so many people, a little bit of everywhere. It was people everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And so we didn't at that time, at that point, we didn't know what to think. We didn't know how to really, navigate that right there like that for real. We didn't. We didn't. We didn't know how to really navigate that right there. And grief, a lot of grief and pain and anger was guiding the way at that point. It was guiding the way. It was mainly anger. For real. It was mainly anger that was guiding the way. For me, it was more anger than anything. I don't understand that why when people pass away, it seemed like anger strikes first. I don't know why. But for me, that's what it was. It was anger. I was more so mad. I wanted to know where this guy was. Where was he at? And then the crazy part is this right here. Even if he had walked past me, I wouldn't even know. I didn't know who I was looking for. And he could have been right there next to me the whole time, and I wouldn't even known it. We was
That's a lot you had to process. That's a lot that you had to process.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something else. What happened was this right here is how crazy it was. I was walking past somebody, right? It was a female that I was walking past, and she was on the phone with somebody, man. She was on the phone with somebody, and she was like, yeah, this the car. Yeah, this it. I know this was his car and this, that, and the other. And I'm listening, like it again, remember, I'm not ear hustling, but she was talking so loud on the speaker, telling him like, yeah, this is his car, this is that car, and this, that, and the other, so much to the point to where I pulled her to the side. I said, you know who was driving that car right there? Because they ran. Initially, they ran. And she was like, yeah, I know who was driving it. She said it was such and such driving it. And I said, okay, well, come on over here then. I politely walked her right on over there to the police officer. Tell them who was driving this car, because they didn't know who it was that was driving the car at the time. Tell them what you just told me. And she went over there with no problem. No problem. She went over there, told them that the name of whoever it was that was driving the car, said that he was drunk as hell when he was driving that car, and she had one of her cousins was in the car with him. And that cousin, she told him not to get in the car with him because he was drunk, and when he took off from the house, prior to him getting in, when he turned the corner, and the car was almost on two wheels when he turned the corner. And so when he arrived back, she told her cousin or her brother, whoever it was, don't get in the car with him because he drunk and he driving stupid and he gonna hurt somebody. That's what she told the police. And sure as ever, that's exactly what happened. He hurt somebody. He killed somebody. That's exactly what he did. And they got out and ran. They're scared. I could see that. I could see them being scared. It don't justify it, but I could see them being scared. I could see that right there, especially after you done killed somebody. But they got out and ran. They got out and ran. Nobody knew who they was. And old girl, she said something, but then what wound up happening too, his mother wound up bringing him back to the scene. He left. He went to a gas station or something. He phoned his mother. His mother came and picked him up and brought him back to the scene and turned him in. You see what I'm saying? So at that point, what morals could you ask for? What morals could you say? He was gone for 2 hours. He was gone for 2 hours after the accident. So I guess his alcohol level had kind of like came down or whatever. But according to what they were saying, this guy was blowing lights all up and down East 7 Mile. You know what I'm saying? Right here in Detroit, he blowing, and the only thing that stopped him was when he came into contact with that van. That's the only thing that stopped him. And so, and since then, it done been multiple accidents at that very same spot where I lost my son at. It done been multiple accidents there. It done been, we did a memorial for him. We did a balloon release and everything. Man, they totally, that tree ain't even there no more. It's not even there. Somebody ran that tree over with all the decorations that we had on it. It was like somebody just came and just ran it over. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I don't know if they lost control. But since then, I know of at least 4 different car accidents. At least 4 at that same spot where I lost my son at. And so therefore, I didn't waste my time to go back up there and try to put up no type of memorabilia or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? No more balloons, and you know how people do. Yeah, it's evidence still all on the pole up there. It's a street pole up there. It still got paint from the van still scraped on there. It was stuff all over everywhere. Go back there the next day, you could find the license plate. You could find the not sunglasses, but the eyeglasses that my son had. I let him pick out his glasses. He picked out 2 pair of glasses when I took him to go get his glasses. He did not even wear them glasses a full year. I don't think he had them glasses 6 months before he, transitioned. So one of the glasses, the lens was gone, the arm was gone out of it. All the trauma was from the neck up. All the trauma was from the neck up. And you talking about somebody that was sick about it. I was sick about it because I'm telling you, I was this close up. I'm sitting right here, man. Look, I told these officers, man, I said, listen here. When I got there, they didn't want to let me see him. I told them, I said, listen, I'm going to cut a deal with you. Because I told them, I'm going to see my son. I'm going to let you know that right now, but I'm going to cut a deal with you. You let me see my son, and I'll make sure that y'all can do a clean investigation. I said, but if you don't, I said, you're not going to get a clean investigation. And that right there is the nicest I can tell you. They looked at each other, and they said, okay. They gave consent. We went over there, and I looked at him, and I'm telling you, man, I'm looking at this boy like this. This is, look, this is him. Just like you see him right here. I'm looking at him. And I'm this close up on him. And I'm looking around. I don't see nothing. I can't even recognize this boy. I did not recognize him, and I was this far up on him. Like, on him, like, trying to see. I couldn't see nothing about his face at all. Only thing I seen was the back of his head. And that bad boy was open. I seen that right there. That's what I was seeing. I seen the part that was really, it was really graphic. You know what I'm saying? What I seen when I looked at that right there from the scene. You know what I'm saying? You talking about all this stuff running out, and man, listen. That's what I seen. I didn't see nothing else. I couldn't see nothing else. So when we got to the hospital and everything. And when we got to the hospital, after we left Children's Hospital checking on my daughter, right next door was Detroit Receiving. We went to Detroit Receiving Hospital. And when we got to Detroit Receiving Hospital I'm thinking that we're going to go down there and verify this boy for our safety. That morgue doctor, whatever you call him, that work in the morgue, he wouldn't let us see him. And it's not that he had the power to tell us no. It was just the fact that from what I seen at that scene and him, the way he said that, he was trying to be as nice as he could. And I'm going to say that he was trying to be as nice as he could. He was like, man, listen, did y'all see him at the scene? Like, yeah. Like, yeah, and kind of like, no, yeah, but yeah, we did. He said, okay, well then, pretty much you probably seen what you need to see. Like, you don't want to see there's nothing there. That's what he said. He said, there's nothing there. And that pretty much is the best way I could really say that. You know, in the sense that that's the most sensitive way I could tell you y'all don't need to see that. Just listen. Just go ahead. Pretty much. And I didn't argue back with that right there. I didn't argue back with that because I knew what I had seen at that say. I knew he wasn't lying. I knew he wasn't. I knew it within myself. I knew he wasn't lying. So I didn't press the issue because at that point, I felt, even at that point, before I even knew about this spirit stuff that I be telling y'all about, even at that point, it was like, for me, it was like, man, he trying to protect your spirit. He trying to protect you. Something was telling me, listen, he trying to protect you. Okay? Go on about your business. This is what was going on up here. Go on about your business. Not the doctor telling me that. This is what was going on up here. Go on about your business. He trying to protect you. You know what you seen right there? And right now he trying to protect you from you seeing anything further than what you seeing. So go on ahead on about your business right now. And that's what we did. I took his word for it and we left. And shoot, a couple days later when we thought everything was good, right before my daughter got ready to get up out the hospital, we getting a phone call telling us we got to go down there to the medical examiner and identify this boy. So now we got to identify him and everything. This right here, up here, like all up in here, was wrapped up. You see what I'm saying? All that right there, it was wrapped up. All that stuff right there. That's what they tried to do. They tried to make the picture presentable when we went to go identify him at the medical examiner's office. They tried to make the picture presentable so we can identify him because he was in such a bad condition. Such his condition wasn't, and so we didn't get a color picture of him. We got a black and white picture of him with his head wrapped up in a towel. You know what I'm saying? So you don't see what the parts that was missing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you that shit took me out the game, baby. It took me out the
That's
game.
very traumatic. I did not know your whole story, but that's very traumatic.
Took me out the game, baby. That's the reason why my son had to have a closed coffin. We ain't had no closed coffin because we ain't want to see him. He had a closed coffin because he was dismembered from the neck up. You see what I'm saying? And we that right there is stuck with me. So I seen him on the autopsy. I'm sorry, the medical examiner picture, the autopsy picture twice. So I seen it 3 times, and every time that it wasn't just something that you just don't see that. That ain't what you seen. You ain't see nothing like that. That boy look like Rogue. You understand? That's what I'm talking about. And it's stuff like that you can't erase. And then you turn around, then you topple that right there. See me, I opened all that up myself. For me, that was me because that was just something that I did because curiosity got the best of me. That was something that I did. Curiosity had got the best of me, and I wanted to see everything. So by the time I got done with this right here, I figured that I've seen the worst of the worst of the worst. Hopefully I can start healing because I can't see nothing no worse than what I already done seen. I done seen the worst end of it already. Everything else should be a breeze. And to a degree, it wasn't, no, I ain't no to no degree. It wasn't no breeze. That wasn't no breeze. What it did was it kept running back. It kept running back. That's what it kept on doing. And that's the reason why I tell y'all don't do that. Don't go trying to get no autopsy pictures. You can do it and you can request them. When they do the medical examination and stuff like that, you can get a copy of the report and everything, but it's not going to come with the pictures. In order for you to get the pictures, you have to request that, And not only do you request the pictures, they might charge you for it. In some cases, they might just waive the charges, because of the situation. But you could request the pictures for the autopsy that they did with your child. So I got I want to say like 30 something odd pictures, between like 25 and maybe 30 something odd pictures of this boy, from everything from rooter to the tutor, baby. Nothing with nothing, censored. You know what I'm saying? Seen the whole thing, everything. What you didn't see, you know what I'm saying, at that scene, or what you couldn't see at that scene, you seen all that stuff in them pictures, baby. And I watched that right there, and that right there, like I said, it just stayed up there too long. I was not letting his mama look at that. You got to go look for that right there yourself. They're gonna be here, and I'm gonna put them up. But you got to go find that yourself if you want to look. If you want to look at that, I'm not about to show you that. I'm not about to show you that. And that right there for protection for her. You see what I'm saying?
One mother from a mother's perspective, I'm glad you did that for her, because
Yeah,
that would have taken me out as a mom.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I wasn't going. I know that probably would have took her out, because it damn near took me out the game to look at that right there, man. That you talking about somebody blood boiling? That stuff boiled my blood. And like I said, I sleep with this stuff every single night. I wake up to it, I go to sleep to it. It's all through my mind throughout the course of the day. So when people be sitting up there listening to me talk, and listen to my story, and listen to me on these lives and stuff like that, and I'm talking like I'm talking, some people just think that it's just normal. You have no idea what I'm thinking about. You have no idea what's going through my head. This is the reason why I talk to people, you know what I'm saying, about this right here. Like I said, I use this right here as my therapy. I use it as my therapy. That's how I get this stuff up off my chest. I talk to people like this right here. I'm telling you, it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. And like I said, I don't recommend nobody. I don't recommend nobody. I don't recommend nobody go get the autopsy pictures. I don't recommend you do that. Now you can if you want to, but again, like I said, they don't come with it. And not only that, right there, when another thing about them autopsy pictures too, when you go get those, when you order those autopsy pictures, they are not going to mail them to you, and they are not going to email them to you. That is something that you have to come down there personally and pick up. They ain't gonna FedEx them. They not gonna USPS them. They not gonna do none of that. You have to physically, personally come down there, show your ID, and then you get those pictures. That's how sensitive they are, because they showing everything. Whatever you didn't see, they got stuff on there where up under, the neck, they got like numbers and stuff, like, how people, how you would see a person, they hold up this when they in jail or something like that, or they taking a mug shot and they holding up this little number. For them, they got stuff like that on already on. They got a number on his chest somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That they done put right there, and just to know that that right there is your child that you looking at like that, that's stressed out like that. I'm telling you, that does something to you. It does. That's the reason why I tell people, hey, listen, don't do it. And for the ones that be sitting up there talking some, trying to talk to you like everything is normal, hey, nigga, you don't know shit. I'm telling you, you don't know nothing. I'm telling you, if you had to see the stuff that I went and see, I didn't have to see it. I volunteered to see it. I wouldn't do that again. I would not do that again. Not looking at that boy the way I seen him.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. If you knew then what you know now, would you have done that?
Mm-mm. I wouldn't have got no autopsy pictures. I'd have left it. I'd have left it the way I seen him when we went to go identify him. That was something that we pretty much couldn't help. We had to go identify him. But knowing what I know now, I probably would have just left it at that. That's what I should have did. I should have just left it at that. And so when we get to the service and stuff, when we go down there, after the when you go to view the day before the service and stuff like that, when we go down there to view them and everything, they like, the coffin was already closed. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no open coffin. You just go down there, you make sure everything is all right. I just rolled the dice. I don't even, like I said, I don't know if my son was in that coffin or not. I don't know because I never seen him. I never physically seen him in that coffin. When by the time I got there, the coffin was already closed and everything was already set up, and that's just the way it was. But like I said, I knew that he wasn't down here with me no more, so it didn't really make no difference to me whether he was in the coffin or not. He wasn't here. For me, there wasn't nothing else to do. And you talking about some stuff that take all the air out you. We sitting down here at the doggone funeral home, and these people talking about, well, we need y'all's signature so the medical examiners can release him to us. So we need y'all to, sign off so we can go down there and pick him up and bring him back here. And we can see if we can try to do some reconstruction and all this other stuff, because we do reconstruction too. The funeral home, and we can do some reconstruction too. I go to try to do some reconstruction and all the other stuff. I'm telling them, from what I seen, nah, that ain't gonna work. That's just not gonna work. Nah, ain't no reconstruction, nothing. Even if you could reconstruct that, I wouldn't want you to do it, because I know that you're not gonna get that boy close to what he was looking like. And that right there actually might be worse off. So when we went down there to the funeral home and everything, and we was talking to the funeral director, his mother came up with an idea, say, hey, can we wrap the coffin? Can we wrap the coffin? And that right there is what saved the day. That was good thinking on her end. That right there is what saved the day for me, because, he had a regular size coffin. Even though he was only 7 years old, he still got the 6-foot coffin. He got the big coffin. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't getting the little coffin. They didn't have them. They didn't have that. It's either the big one or the baby ones. And he was too big for the baby one, so he had to get a full-size coffin. But they had to wrap that coffin. They wrapped that coffin with a picture of him and his favorite cartoon character, made it look real nice. You know what I'm saying? It was real sweet the way they did that. And that right there, to be honest with you, that really ease some of the pain, that ease some of the burden off of what we had to see. It did. That picture being there, and I said to myself, I said, you know what, that's a good idea. Moving forward, for those that want to do this funeral thing, for those that believe that looking at their loved one for the last time, on a traditional way that we do funerals and stuff like that right there. If you, a easier way of doing that right there, I say, man, you grab one of them pictures, baby, and you get that coffin wrapped. You know what I'm saying? Wrap that coffin. If you got to have a closed coffin and you still want to see your loved one, you get a picture and let them wrap that coffin with that picture. I'm telling you, it's going to be nice too. It's going to be nice. They did a really, 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 really good job. But I'm going to tell you something, Jack. When they told me that I had to go down there and sign that paperwork for them to go and get that boy from the medical examiner office, man, that took some more wind out of me. Every step of the way, man. Every step of the way. Every time you thought that you was getting a breath up. You know what I'm saying? Every time you thought that you can just breathe for a minute, here come another phone call. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the medical examiners, or it was coming from some type of lawyer, it was coming from some type of prosecutor or some type of law enforcement, something. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I said I couldn't drink around that time, because somebody had to be sober. You had to talk to these people right. You can't be up there talking to these people with liquor all on your breath. You can't be talking to these people and you ain't sober and you ain't right up here, man. You got to be able to talk to some people, man. These people are important. You trying to get some stuff done and it's involving your child. You got to be right up here as close as you can anyway. And putting alcohol on top of that right there, it was not going to make that situation better. I knew that before I even tried to indulge in anything. That's the reason why I didn't do it. It was hard for me to drink a beer. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed away from that stuff. All that stuff right there, it took so much out of me to have to sign my junior over. Talking about going down there and picking up somebody and all this other stuff. And then now, here it is, you come around to the actual day of the service. Ain't nothing more heart wrenching and get your heart pumping like that than to see that family car hit that corner. When that family car hit that corner and that bad boy pull up, you know shit real. That right there is when your legs turn to noodles. My legs damn near turned to noodles when that right there. I could have, man, I could have just fainted. Because now you got to look at this right here and you like, man, listen, I can't believe this right here. This is really about to go down. This really about to go down for real. And it's for this house. It's for my son. Like, nah, man, this right here, I heard about this stuff happening to other people, man. This stuff don't happen to me. Like, I'm exempt from this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You
I'm exempt.
sound
This don't
like
happen.
me. Oh my gosh, Jerome, you sound just like me right there.
I'm telling you, this don't happen to me. I'm exempt from this right
Hmm.
here stuff. That's the way I felt.
Yep.
This don't supposed to happen to me. You know, it happened with other people.
Hmm.
But man, I'm telling you, man, that stuff, it really it does something to you. And that's when I started to look at these funerals a little differently too, man. It took me, I had to go to my son's funeral to do that. I get up there, man, I speak at my son's funeral, and I was very sarcastic because I'm telling you, me and God had a beef. I was beefed out with God. I ain't gonna cut no corners with you on that right there. Me and God was beefed out, and I wasn't scared to say it. And because we was in the house of the Lord, in a church, I wanted to know how did this right here happen? You know, because everybody kept on, they would come up there to the mic and talk some, yeah, Jesus, we need you right now, and all this other stuff. I'm like, man, Jesus, we needed you on November 9th. That's when we needed you. We needed you when this stuff happened. Now what's done is done. Where was you at? Why didn't you show up?
Yeah, I
Now
ain't
I had
rocking
some
with him no
questions.
more, Jerome. I got to let you know. I don't rock with him no more. I grew up
Hey,
with it, but that did it for me.
I'm listen,
Because if you
and
was gonna
people
answer
won't
a prayer, you could
understand.
have answered it when my son was in that hospital bed. When we
That's what, and
all were praying.
that's where I was at with it.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah,
And I
that's where I
feel
was at
better
with it.
about it too.
Yeah, because see, what that did was it allowed me to release some stuff that I probably wanted to release a long time ago. Oh yeah, I questioned him. I questioned him like a mother. And then not 2 minutes after I get down from saying what I had to say, somebody get right up there right behind me and jump right up on the mic, Thompson. Jesus, we need you. Jesus, this family, this, that, man. I got up and walked out. I got up and walked out. I didn't want to hear it. I wasn't
Y'all
about to
know
sit
it
in there,
too.
and I knew what was coming too. By the end of the service, when everybody got to come up here and say your last goodbyes and all that other stuff, I wasn't in there for that either. I ain't want to see none of that. You know, and then here it is, I'm standing out there in front of the church and everything, and then all of a sudden the doors open, boom, here come the flowers, here come the pictures, and all this other stuff. Then you see the coffin coming out. Like I said, I don't remember the pallbearers, man. I wasn't thinking about none of that stuff. I ain't even ride in the family car. I jumped in my truck and I followed that car. I was in my truck. I didn't ride in them cars, man. I no, because I'm ready to leave when I'm ready to leave. And I stayed there. And like I said, I had went this far right here. I stayed there the whole ride. I requested initially for them to lower him down in the ground while everybody was there. You know what I'm saying? But they wound up waiting till a lot of people left until they just said, forget it, we about to go ahead and do it. So when they got ready to lower him in the ground, I recorded it and everything. I don't look at it too often, but I've seen it. I've seen that more times than I have his autopsy pictures. And they got him going to the ground and everything. Then they got the little truck coming up with all the dirt and pouring all the dirt all on. That right there was painful to watch, but I had watched all the other stuff, so I opened up myself to it. I opened up myself to all that stuff right there. That's just what I did. And again, that right there ain't gonna work for everybody else. That ain't gonna work for everybody else. And again, if you can't take that, I don't recommend that you do it. Don't take none of the stuff that I did. You know what I'm saying? And look at it as I'm telling you to do that. That's just what I did because for me, I'm a deep diver. That's me. I'm a deep diver. I dive deep into stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't just take surface level answers. You know what I'm saying? If I see a situation or a problem or something like that, I'm just not surface level with that. I like to
Yep.
dive deep.
I'm the same way.
And that's what I did. That's what
Hmm.
I did. And like I said, I don't recommend nobody else do it because you don't know where your energy really is at when you dealing with your child, when you dealing with your kid. I don't know how it's like to deal with that right there with your parent or nothing like that, but when you're dealing with your kid, that right there, you don't really want to deep dive like that. And I'm gonna tell you something else. In that process too, is gonna be some people that you expect to stand real tall with you in your corner that ain't even gonna show up.
And that includes family.
That's what I'm talking
They the
about.
worst. They
That's
to
what I'm
me.
talking about.
I've
That's
heard
what I'm
about the
talking about.
stories, but until it's a lived experience, it's something you don't understand. Like you said before, family. I just was like, okay, I'm gonna have a few because these my close family members. I have not even seen these people since, talked to them since the funeral, and it's friends and my son's friends and my son's father's side of the family that has been my biggest supporters. But it's the people you least expect. I've had strangers treat me better than my family.
That is true. That is true. But listen, I have my family. For the ones that showed up, they showed up and showed out. I'm not gonna lie. I had me, for me, and this right here was on my son's both sides of my son's family. You know what I'm saying? Both his mother side and my side. For the ones that was helping us, they really they went in. They did a damn good job. They showed up and they showed out, and we appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? We do appreciate that. But for some of the when I tell you, see, I got people in my family right now that I've been there for you when you lost your parents. I was there for you when when you lost your siblings or something like that. Somebody that was close to you. When I lost my son, I ain't get a phone call, a text message, a smoke signal, inbox. I ain't get nothing. A lightning flare. I didn't get nothing. I ain't heard nothing from nobody. I used to let you, hey, look, we used to rock together. You know what I'm saying? Broke bread with you. At some point in time, some of these people even lived with me at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? They lived with me. I ain't hear nothing from some of these people. And there was some people that was expected that you would hear something from. Nope. That's why I said some of these people ain't gonna, that's when you start to really when I lost that boy, I really start to see who was who. It really showed
Absolutely.
out. It really stood out who was who.
Yep. It's like
And
it takes a veil off of all the illusions that we had.
man,
It's like
what?
the veil has been lifted. Now,
Man,
if
what?
you thought you knew, now you really know.
You see what I'm saying? The veil came off and it was so clear that you couldn't even deny it. You couldn't even deny it. And that's why I was saying you got to pay attention because you got for me, you got people that's in the house, and that just cause you're not involved in indulging in the drinking and stuff like that, everybody else still drinking, some of them smoking or whatever. Guess what? That alcohol get inside these jokers, man, and they really start to show who they is. Yeah. Had a dude in my house tell me he was going to kill me and had a liquor bottle. Like he was about to hit me with it. And the day before my son's funeral, he was in the house he told me he would kill me. He had a liquor bottle in his hand like he was about to hit me with it. He on some drunk stuff. See what I'm saying? That's why I said all these people, and I had to really, really use discernment then. You talking about pressure? You ain't seen nobody hold pressure the way I had to hold pressure throughout this whole entire process. That was never ever to really properly ever, be released for real. I'm still dealing with that pressure right now as we speak. It's just that the way I go by handling it, some people don't, some people would look like, okay, well, yeah, he all right. It's just some people know how to handle it a little better than others. But the pressure that I had to, hold on and dealing with this right here since it happened, man, unbearable. Unfreaking bearable.
The
I'm
thing
not
that
playing.
I notice when it comes to people is how they like to compare their loss to your loss. I I'm not a fan of that because you and I have experienced child loss, but our stories are still so very different and so unique. It's no one size fit all, and I've noticed that people tend to want to. I guess it's their way of trying to provide comfort, but I don't find it comforting to compare your loss of your parent or the loss of your cousin or the loss of your grandmother to the loss of my child. To me, child loss is just in a totally different bracket from loss.
It is. It's in a totally different bracket of loss because that's something that we don't really expect to have to do. But I'm
It's
gonna tell you,
unnatural. It's just unnatural. It's not the
that's
natural order.
exactly what it is. It's
It's going
unnatural.
against the grain.
When that happened to me, that right there is like I said before in a couple of my videos. When they got to talking about should no parent have to bury a child and all that other stuff, yeah, it sound good to say. But when it hit you, all that stuff go right out the window. All that stuff go out the window. Ain't no such thing as should no parent have to bury a child when you got to bury yours. You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't have to be that way, but hey, it worked that way. Absolutely, it worked that way. All that stuff right there went right out the window when I'm sorry about that. All that stuff right there went right out the window when I had to bury mine. I ain't playing. And you know what else? After that right there happened right there for me, that right there, it didn't stop right there for me. After I buried my son, it didn't stop right there for me. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got 6 other siblings. Both mom and dad side. He got 6 other siblings. Okay? Or 7 other siblings. Okay? That right there put me on high alert for every last one of them. After I lost him, it was like, man, you can lose any one of them at any time right now. It was like, man, I was scared as hell. It still is. That right there run scared through your body because now you got to look at the rest of your kids like, oh, shoot. Like
I
this
think
right here
that's
can
the
happen to me.
difference. That's the difference with me and you. I don't have any more fears. Anything can happen. I'm good. Anything. Like I
The
could get a
worst thing,
diagnosis today and I'll be okay. Let's go.
hey, see that, and see that's what I'm saying. That's the thing, man. When that right there stuff right there happened, baby, the worst thing that's the worst that a parent can ever go through, a person can ever go through is losing a child. The worst, anything worse than that is losing 2 or 3 or more. You know what I'm saying? That's what's worse than that. Other than that right there, ain't nothing worse than losing a child. See, your parents is expected to go before you. Okay? Your grandparents is expected to go before you. Some people that's out here that's not living their life the way that they supposed to live their life, and you out here testing and not valuing your life out here. You want to live this street life. We know that your day's number 2, so they expected to leave before you too because you know the life that they're living. You see what I'm saying? But somebody that like that right there, you don't expect that right there. I held that boy. I call myself holding him as close to me as possible because see, I got older kids that you know I could have did better as a father when it came down to them. I talked to them about that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the best father to my older kids. I had them very young, but nonetheless, I wasn't the best father to them that I could have been looking back at it. So a lot of that stuff I tried to make up with him. You know, I tried to make that up with him and his sister, and try to do right. And so I made sure that I hold this boy really close to me. I tried to make sure I hold that boy really close to me. And after I lost him, it was like, man, I couldn't hold him close enough. As close as I held that boy to me, I couldn't hold him close enough. He had his own path. He had his own path that he had to go. And that right there sucked for me. I had to live with it. I had to eat it. I had to
I just
deal
want
with
to
it.
ask a question. I see one of your comments says, I know you guys are angry, but God is real. I just wanted to ask that person, have they experienced child loss?
Let
To
me
the
see.
person who wrote that comment.
Let me see if I can find it. Uh, who was that? Fanita. Did I say that right? Fanita Yvonne. I know you guys are angry, but God is real. Have you lost a child? The one that made that comment. Have you ever lost a child before? That was a question that my guest asked. And that's crazy. I haven't really even been paying attention to the comments either. I've been running all off at the mouth. If anybody else wanted to join the live and tell y'all a story, y'all can. If you want to. You don't have to. I just seen that right there though. Let me see. I'm sorry. Fanita. Fanita. No, that's Fanita. Fanita Yvonne. If you still here, did you hear the question? Have you lost a child? Because I'm gonna tell you, man, when I lost my child, whether God was real or not, I ain't believe no more. That took all my faith. That I didn't have no more faith in that right there no more, to be honest with you. And that right there might not have been popular to other people's ears. That might not have been a popular thing to say. But I didn't, man, listen, you had people that was coming up, oh yeah, he's in a better place. I was like, shit, what's wrong with my place? He wasn't nothing wrong with where he was at here. He was straight here. He was having fun, running around, doing little boy stuff. You know, what was wrong with my place? He wasn't abused. He was well nourished. You know, he was a normal little boy doing little boy stuff. What was wrong with my place? What was I doing wrong? What you mean he in a better place? See, sometimes when people say that stuff, they say it with good intention, but depending on what it is, you might not. That's why people need to, sometimes people got to be careful with what they say. You know what I'm saying? You walking on a lot of thin ice and eggshells when you talking to somebody like that. And that's the reason why when I be talking, because I done went through it, I'm qualified to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Shell, you done been through it. You qualified to talk about it. That's what make you qualified to talk about it, because you done been through it. You're not qualified to talk about this right here if you ain't been through it. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion about it.
I co-sign it because
Yeah.
I've heard the cliches, he's in a better place, or what's the other
Yeah.
one they like to say?
Yeah, to
God
be
take
to
the
be
good
absent
ones
from the body is
young.
to be present with the
Yeah, I
Lord.
don't want to hear any of that.
Yeah.
I just don't
Hey,
want to
hey,
hear it.
because hey, ain't none of that stuff hitting on
It
nothing.
ain't hitting on nothing until it happens to you. It
I'm
means
telling you.
absolutely, they're just
I done
words.
heard
They're
it
empty
all.
words.
I
Yep.
done heard it. I done heard all of, like you said, the little cliches that they got to come. You know, I done heard it all. And every time that somebody came with one of those things right there, you know what it did? It did this. Boop, boop, boop. It
Yep.
fell. It came in one ear and went right out the other ear, and it dropped immediately.
Yep.
And because I didn't want to be rude about the situation, I just knew that, they probably just didn't have nothing else better to say. They don't know what to say. They willing to tell you whatever it is that you need to hear for you to be to be as comfortable as you can. So I respect it from that level, from that end. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you something else too, and I was talking about this right here, the other day ago too. When it come down to this right here, I'm gonna tell you, we got men. I'm gonna touch on this right here for a minute, okay? We got men that go through this stuff right here as well, and these men are not okay. They done lost their son. They done lost their daughter. They done lost a child, just like that mother done lost they child. And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't nobody want to talk about it. Don't nobody speak about it. But I'm gonna speak about it right now in terms of the men that have to go through this stuff right here. A lot of them men are suffering in silence because they don't get the type of support that mother get. And it's not about, comparing and all this other stuff. They don't get that support that mother get. That mother get overwhelming support when it come down to losing the child. They not getting equal support. I'm telling you that right now. The men, they not getting equal support. It's expected that man to be strong. It's expected that man is supposed to be strong for him, his wife, or his girl, or his family, and absorb all that stuff right there, as well as deal with his feelings and everything too, as if he not going through nothing when it come down to him losing the child as well. I've heard people have told me that. Listen, I know you hurting. But that baby got a bond with his mama. They got that bond with the mama is like none other, because she had to carry him, and she had to birth him, and she had to do this, and she had to do that. So, I understand that you hurt, but his mama is hurt. Like her hurt is more worse than my hurt. You see what I'm saying? And we lost the same child. Let me tell you something, man. It's stuff like that will cause men that used to be successful, some good productive men, they will go into a phase where if you was working out, you about to be a drug addict. You about to be an alcoholic. You about to go into some other type of substance abuse. The person that you was that was so productive, hey, that ain't you no more. He ain't got that support that she got. That's not to say that it would change, the way that he feel about the situation. But I'm telling you, sometimes when you're going through this right here, it's like, yeah, we know you hurt, but and we sorry for your pain. But she hurt way more than you is. And I'm telling you, that's BS. Flat out, it's BS. Especially if you don't put time in. See, I got videos. Not only did I put time in with mine, I got the videos to prove it. I had my son out at 3 and 4 years old changing tires, using air guns and putting tools and stuff. I got this stuff on video. You know what I'm saying? I got this stuff on video with me doing this right here. And just weeks prior, probably maybe a month or so prior to him, transitioning, he installed my radio in my van, in my work van. That's the type of stuff that I was working with. Like I had him going out young. Now, at this point, he's 8 years old. He was 7 when he passed. He's 8 years old now. And then after this month right here, his birthday is next month, y'all. It's next month. After Christmas, after New Year's, after Thanksgiving. Then his birthday come around. I had a video that went viral last year on his birthday because I couldn't hold it no more. The prosecutors is up there playing around with us and all that other stuff. See, I don't even talk about that stuff. I only talk about the passing of my son. I don't get into the actual stuff that was going on with the justice system. I was going through stuff with them on top of that right there, on top of what I was going through with my son. I could have, man, it was damn near like you could have passed from secondhand stress itself. That was secondhand stress. They didn't bring no comfort at all. Not the justice system. They ain't give you, it was nothing in there comforting at all. At all. It was almost like I was working, they supposed to been working with me. It was like we was working against each other. We supposed to be on the same squad. And I actually got a chance to see what it was like on that other side of the justice system, because typically when you're dealing with the justice system, you be on the receiving end. You be on the penalty end. Well, now I'm not on the penalty end no more. I'm on the other end watching the other person get the penalties. So now I get to see it from this angle now. And when I seen it from that angle, I'm like, man, y'all ain't doing what you supposed to do then. See, I know the law. That's what y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know is that I know the law. And because I know the law, y'all can't just run this little fast game on me. I'm talking about somebody that advocated the hardest. I don't think nobody advocated. I know ain't nobody advocated harder than me for my son than what I did. And to not get what you advocated for, you know what I'm saying, as a result, you just feel like crushed, man. You just feel like like you lost. Like you just lost. I don't He got some time, yeah, but you still feel like you lost in the process, bro. You just feel like you just lost.
People
Feel
think that, I
defeated.
think a lot of people think when you lose a child that that's it, but it's like you're continuously losing them. You're constantly triggered. You're constantly reminded. Just because we had the funeral doesn't mean that's the end. It's, to me, it's just ongoing.
That was the end for the extended family. For them,
Exactly.
that was the end
Exactly.
for them. That wasn't no end for you because guess what? You still recovering. You got a lot of recovery to do. A lot. And I'm gonna tell you something. Man, listen, there's gonna be some people, yeah, we here for you to the end and all this other stuff. 2 weeks later, your house is empty. And you got two or three people that's still checking in with you consistently. You ain't got that. Them people not gonna be there like that.
Oh,
They not gonna
absolutely
be there
not.
like they tell you that they gonna be there. That's just the right thing to say at the time. You have to go through it in order to understand it. That's just the right thing that just sound good for them, you know, at the time when they telling you that because they don't know what else to tell you. Oh, you need anything? Let me know. Let me know if you need anything. This, that, and the other. Boom, boom, boom. You're not gonna get it. That's just the right thing to say at the time. I get it. I get it. Now, man, everything became so clear. It's impossible. It was almost impossible for me to return to the person that I used to be before this right here happened because I see things so clear now
Yep.
that, like
That's
I said,
amazing.
hey, listen, the veil, like you said, the veil uplift that came
Hmm.
off, man, please. And you see it in every single person that you talk to. I was talking to my uncle the other day ago. I went over there to his house last week and I was talking to my uncle and I was letting my uncle know, man, listen, when I talk to people now, I don't see people no more. I don't see people no more. I see spirit. I see energy. When I'm talking to you, yeah, I see your body and the stuff that's coming out your mouth. I don't hear that. I hear the second language that's coming out your mouth with the words that's falling out your mouth. I hear that second language. And that
Yep.
second language that you're not saying, it actually speaks louder than what you are actually saying. If that make any sense. You
Sense
know
to
what I'm
me, 'cause
saying?
that's me now. Like, I cannot go back to who I used to be. That person, when people say a part of me died when so and so died, that is true. Like, I do not recognize, I have to get acquainted to the woman that I am today. Because the person, the mother that I was before my son passed, she does not exist.
That's, I'm telling you, that's the way it was with me. I said that in one of my. Hey, listen, like I said, it's gonna be that version of me that some people had. You're not getting that back. You're not getting that back. That's done. That is done. Okay, you're not getting that. You're not getting that version of me back because my top man. I don't. I don't. My tolerance is at a zero. My tolerance is at a zero. I can't tolerate. Listen. My tolerance is at a zero with the foolishness. Okay, my tolerance is at a zero for almost everything. People don't understand that right there. But I don't have a high tolerance like I used to. At one point in time, I had a high tolerance for the BS. Yeah, okay, but now no, not so much. Not so much. I've been cutting people off left and right. I've been chopping them down left and right. I've been chopping them down left and right. You know what I'm saying? I've been giving them what you've been asking for. I've been giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't sugarcoating nothing. Hey, I'm telling you exactly the way it is, flat out. I ain't cutting no corners with you. And I ain't trying to be rude. I ain't trying to be nasty or none of that other stuff. But that version of me that you would have gotten away with this stuff with that's not this version no more. And you about to find that out really fast. Really fast. I'm telling you, there is no more filters.
It's me, no more filters. That's exactly what I was getting at when I asked you that question.
Yeah. No more filters.
It's a
That's not.
raw, uncut version. A lot of people don't know
Oh
what to
yeah,
do. And I thought
very
I
raw.
was raw and uncut before. I thought I was. This right here, this is about as organic as it will ever get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I said it's gonna be this right here is gonna be the version that you see of me right now, and to come. Some people is not going to like that version, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because there's more and more people that's just gonna fall off and fall off and fall off. You probably should have fell off a long time ago anyway, and I kept you around.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm
The
saying? I kept you
expiration
around, so
date
you probably
already
supposed to go
gone.
anyway. If you supposed to go, bye. It don't make me
Mm-hmm.
no difference one way or another. I'm telling you, man, it changed your whole
Your
trajectory,
whole
your whole mindset
perspective.
of thinking.
Yes. Your whole
Yeah, I'm
perspective
I'm good
shifts.
on that. I'm good.
Me
I ain't
too.
trying to make you happy. I ain't trying to, have you all up in my face smiling and stuff. Nope. I'm calling out for what it is, not what it's supposed to be. You see it all. What's his name? Dick Gregory say, when the universe choose you and you got to put on the magic glasses, there's rules that come with that. One, you can't take them off. Two, you see things as they supposed. You see things as they are, not how they supposed to be. And three, you can't force nobody else to wear them.
Facts.
Okay, I get it now. I get it, and I hate that I had to go down this path right here for me to see it. It's a whole lot of stuff that I see nowadays. Like, man, is this right here what it took for me to have to see this?
That's exactly what I say. It's a blessing and a curse.
It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift
Yep.
and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. And like I said, for me, the scariest thing for me is getting a phone call that I lost another one. That's the scariest part right now at this point for me is to lose another one. But after this right here, I don't think no pain tops that right there. And like I said, I still got both of my parents. You know what? Not only do I still got both of my parents, I'm going to take it a little deeper. It's 10 siblings that I got, including myself. It's 10 siblings. My 10 siblings, out of the 10 siblings that I got, I think, let me see, one, two, three, four, five of us. At least five of us got kids. This is the first one from my tree on either side. I had my full family at one point in time, and I had just told my sister that right there too. I said, man, we blessed. I said, we still got both our parents. We got all our kids. We still got a grandparent left. But in terms of what we had from our parents and stuff like that, I said, we still got all ours. I said, we blessed. You know what I'm saying? I still got all my nieces and my nephews. I got all my kids and all the other stuff. Man, what, 2, 3 weeks later, that boy was out of here. He ain't make it too far past Halloween. In fact, still had Halloween candy left that he hadn't even dug into. Yeah. So, like I said, man, I tell my story. I tell my story, not for sympathy, not for clicks and views, because I had somebody that told me that on YouTube that I was weird because I posted my dead son for clicks and views. Because I posted the picture we had on the orange shirt, and he had a picture, something in his name, a paper in his hand with his name on it. And, I was just thinking about him. When I think about him, I post him, And they told me that I was weird for doing that. They told me I was weird for doing that. And I'm like, man, and these people, some of these people, I'm telling you, man, they are nasty. This internet boy, that I'm telling you, boy, some of these people are nasty. And I try to really keep myself in place from trying to, from going to, but these people, I have to remind myself, they don't know you, man. They don't know you. Don't hang yourself up on that. Don't put yourself, behind the 8 ball arguing with people that you don't know. But some of these people, I'm telling you, they will try to get up under your skin. So what I do is I play the game back with you. Oh, you want to put something disrespectful down there like that? I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and guess what? I'm gonna leave your comment there. I'm gonna leave it right there so everybody else can see how stupid you sound.
I know I had to check somebody under your comment one day.
And I seen that. Hey, I seen that.
I
I
couldn't help it.
seen
I
that.
just couldn't. I was
I
respectful.
seen
I think
that.
I said it respectfully. I said to her what I said, and I said respectfully. Because she can't tell you how to feel, even though she may have experienced child loss. Nobody can tell you how you feel and how you're managing. I don't care if you got 20 years into child loss. You cannot expect my situation, your situation, to be the same. It's nothing identical about it. So I just was asking her a question like, how you gonna tell him how he felt at his son's funeral?
You know what? You didn't get no answer.
I didn't. I knew
You
I
didn't.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I know, because now she see how stupid she sound in doing that, and then some of them they say some stuff. They'll try to say it in a slick way, and then put a little he and a smiley face behind it, like it was something light that you just said. No, it wasn't nothing light. Don't try to you know try to cover up what you said with a little smiley face and all that other crap. I know what you meant by it. See, your spirit is so sharp. You can feel people's intentions.
Yeah, energy.
With
You just it's almost like having it's what I tell people, I feel like a superhero. Like I have powers now that I didn't know I had.
Come on now.
And so if you got something to say and you say it respectfully, I'm gonna come back with you respectfully, but it might not be what you expected me to say because I'm cut from a different cloth now. So the realness is here. It doesn't have to mean that I'm angry, I'm bitter, or upset. It's just raw and uncut.
Flat out. That's just the way it is. And hey, for me, I don't care which way you take it. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I don't care which way you take it. I done took the biggest L in my life up to this point. I done took the biggest L in my life right now up to this point right here. But for me, I want to make sure that I'm, saying this right here right, because it's a it's a L on the physical end, but it's also another L, and I ain't talking about a loss. It's a lesson.
Absolutely.
It's a lesson. So on the spirit end, because on the spirit end, it sharpen you right on up. It sharpen you right on up,
Yes,
baby. It
it
sharpen
did.
you up.
Yes, it
Sharpened
does.
me right on up. It took me right out all that paganism and stuff like that. That I was,
Mm-hmm.
with these holidays and stuff like that.
Yes.
Started really seeing this stuff for what it is. These holidays look evil to me now. They
Yep.
don't look. They ain't this lovely holiday and stuff like that. That's when I started looking at Christmas and Halloween and stuff like. We already knew Halloween was evil, but the way that it was dressed up is dressed up in candy and
Yep.
and costumes and fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some evil stuff that they dress up as fun. Now I turn around, and I look at Thanksgiving. Oh, it's dressed
Mm-hmm.
up in food and pies and stuff like that. It's dressed up to where family's supposed to be around. Oh, okay, cool, but it's evil and it's dressed up as something fun to disguise the evil.
Mm-hmm.
Then you turn around and look at Christmas. You say, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, Christmas was fun. Christmas is just as evil, but it's disguised in gifts and wrapping paper and Christmas trees and lights
Yep.
and Rudolphs and all this other stuff.
Yep.
This is New Year's coming in next.
Yep.
New Year's coming in next. You see what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
right there was. Hey, listen, I'm bringing in the New Year's, and you're a child short.
Yep. I'm my only child short. I don't have nothing to. I can't wait for 2025 to get out of here.
Man, what? What? 2020, I couldn't wait for 2024 to get up out of here. 2025 came around, and that right there was a year that I had to really work on myself and put myself back together as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm still working at it. And some of these answers that I be getting just talking to y'all, because some of this stuff I don't even be knowing where this stuff be coming from. Some of this stuff I be talking to y'all about. I have to go back and look at my videos at times and be like, man, I said that. That made sense. That sound pretty good. You know, I be teaching myself stuff at times when I be talking this stuff right here, man. It just happened that way. That's just the way it happens.
Part of your
You know,
therapy.
that's why I said that. That's what I do. And so now that, I'm talking to people about this right here, and people, it seemed like when I started talking about it, it opened up a way that other people can come and they can express theirs now, because some of these people sound like they didn't have nowhere to disperse that out. They didn't know, they can't talk to nobody, don't nobody understand it. And I get that right there part for sure, for sure. I get that right there part better than anybody else. You can't just talk to anybody about this. Everybody, because they'll come off like they try to understand. But like I said, if you haven't lost a child, we ain't really got nothing to talk about.
Mm-mm.
In that sense, only thing you can do is listen to me,
That's it.
you know? But I'm about to wrap this thing on up, man. I'm not about to hold this thing up too much more longer. I've been on here for a couple of hours at this point. I didn't that and that went by really, really fast. That went by
I'm
really,
glad I
really
caught
fast.
you.
Yeah. Um, I want to thank you for coming on here too, Shell. I really appreciate that, because you was one of the top ones on my TikTok that I zeroed in on, because I see you trying to do the work.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? You actually trying to do the work, and you kind of get it. I could feel that you get it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so I was glad to see that you had jumped in on this live. I really wanted this live to be with a lot of other people that was going through this right here too, so I could hear from different people. Maybe they can get in, tell their story, and get some of this stuff up off their chest. So they could feel like this right here is a safe space. My channel over here is a safe space where you can come over here and you can let that stuff out, because I know what it's like. I know how that feel to not have nowhere to turn to be able to talk to somebody about this, and you just balling that stuff in. And what that right there stuff do, it tears away at your inside. It tears away at you, because like I said, at one point, between the time I lost my child in November 2024, by, I want to say, November, December, January, February, March, probably around April, like March, Aprilish, somewhere around there, like 5 or 6 months, 4 or 5 months in, man, it was, I had lost so much weight. I didn't even know it. I had lost so much weight. I lost um, between 25 and 40 pounds, and I didn't even know it. I did not even know it. I told you, listen, I just have to be honest with myself, man. It was at that point that after Junior told me that he was all right and he was with us, and then I walked past that mirror and seen myself after getting out the shower, and I looked at myself without no clothes on, and I'm looking at myself, man, and I told you, I did not like what I seen. I didn't. I did not like what I was looking at in that mirror at all. It was like, damn, you did this right here to yourself, and this right here is what
One
my
thing I'm learning, Jerome, is that grief is not just emotional or mental. It's physical.
it is.
It's physical.
It
Because I
is
look in the mirror and I don't see the same person that I recall.
at all.
My
Not for
face
me.
look different. My eyes look different. Everything just looks different.
And guess what? Some people will see that in you too, and they ain't gonna tell you that. They'll tell that to somebody else.
Oh
Like, man,
yeah.
she done lost a lot of weight. You see how she look now?
In my case, I done gained mine. I gained whatever you lost.
Or he done gained some weight. Yeah, yeah. See, my daughter gained weight.
Mm-hmm.
My little daughter, she was small. She was smaller than, man, that 1 year that done went by. Man,
Mm-hmm.
shoot, she eating everything.
Yep, stress. It's just your
She eating
DNA changing.
everything. And she young. She just turned 6 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Back in September, she just turned 6.
Yep.
And so that's the thing too. She could be stressing out over there right there too, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't know that she's stressing out, thinking that she's too young to be stressing out.
Yep.
And because she running around the house playing and acting like a kid as well, she going through something too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got to pay attention to it. You got to zero in on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've been doing, and trying to work around her. And man, we was going out of town, and she wanna listen to the music and songs that her and her brother was listening to, and we can't say no. But when we listen to it, it's like, man, you put us in such a tight spot, Jack. For real, she was putting us in some tight spots, baby, asking some tough questions that, Jack, you ain't got the answers to, baby. I'm telling you, man, you had to go through it. You had to go through it. But again, I'm about to get up out of here. I'm a I'm gonna save this video right here. I'm gonna get some shorts out this video right here for sure. I'm about to put some shorts up on this video and edit it out and everything, and hopefully tomorrow, because I typically try to do my videos in the morning, like around the 9 o'clock-ish hour, hopefully sometime before 10 a.m. on the daily. And I want to be consistently on the daily with my message and everything. I be trying to do it consistently and everything. What I do is I come on here when I got it in my spirit to come on here. Cause I'm not about to sit up here and come in here with I'm not about to come in here making up stuff, trying to force a story out. You know what I'm saying? I want to be as authentic as I can be when I'm doing my lives and talking about this right here. This right here is a very touchy subject for many, and that's why I'm very careful about the audience that I hold over here. No disrespect would be tolerated over here because we talking and we dealing with people on a very sensitive subject over here. Okay, it's very sensitive, and you can't talk about this right here on every platform and stuff like that to different people, you know, and expect people to grab what you're saying. So you have to make that clear that this right here is not one of those pages where you can just come over here and just openly say whatever you want to say and think that you're going to disrespect somebody over here that's going through this right here. Because this right here is not what that page is for. Okay? You're gonna come correct, baby. That's where it's gonna be, because we got people over here that's hurting. We got
Mm-hmm.
people over here that's looking for some type of way of
Outlet.
getting around their grief. Some people looking, trying to figure out how they gonna start their grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. That was me, and I ain't know where to turn to. I looked up all the YouTubes and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't find nothing. One of the ways that I started out my process before I started doing this right here was I was looking at videos. This is for the ones that's going this right here the first time. If you're trying to find your way over to the spirit side, one of the ways I did it was I looked up different things on YouTube dealing with the spirit. So you can look up what's the name? I forgot his name, but it's the name of the show is called Seatbelt Psychic. If y'all ain't never seen that, look up Seatbelt Psychic. And what that is, it's a dude. He's like a psychic medium, and what he do is he pick up people and he drop them off. It's almost like he a Uber driver or something like that. But when these people get in, what he does is immediately he could feel that they have lost somebody, and he asks them, do you believe in psychic mediums and this, that, and the other? And man, them people be in tears by the time they get out the truck with him, because he done read them so much. And then when you hear what he's reading from them, you can take it and apply it to yourself, and that right there is what will try to get the ball rolling on stuff like that. Another thing that you can look up on YouTube would be the NDE videos. NDE, near death experience videos. They got them out there too. You know what I'm saying? Where you got people that have passed away and then came back and they told you what they seen when they passed away. You know, and inside those, it's another, one more that they got out there. It's called Ghost in My Child. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, but it's one of them that's called Ghost in My Child. And what that right there is them are videos where the child passed away, came back. And when they came back into a new life, they was telling them about what happened. It was this one episode where they were talking about the dude, remember, falling from the buildings in New York, the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. It was a little boy, and he remembered jumping from the Twin Towers when that attack came, and he died jumping from the Twin Towers. And to confirm that, they went back, everything that he said, they went back and dug up the details on that, and that boy was spot on. He was saying stuff that you couldn't have not known unless you were there. See, it's stuff like that, it's little stuff like that that'll help you get yourself up on pace. It'll help you pick yourself up by listening to some stuff like that right there. Especially if this right here your first year and you trying to find a way. You know what I'm saying? NDE, Ghost in My Child, Seatbelt Psychic, them right there was the ones that, and then once you start there, then it's going to be other lanes that's going to open up for you where you get to see different videos. And I'm telling you, man, it will blow your mind and it will make you feel better too. And when you start talking and listening to these psychics and psychic mediums and these other stories, you would understand that ain't none of that stuff evil. That stuff talk directly to you. You don't get a chance to hear this person talking about Job, because a lot of people referred me to Job when I lost my son. A lot of people said you need to read the book of Job. You really need to read the book of Job. Job lost everything and God supplied him with this, that you need to read the book of Job. And I didn't. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, I was just dismissing what they were saying, but I was going through something different. And so when I started to listen to them psychic mediums that was on YouTube and stuff like that I was looking at, I don't know what made me go there, but when I started listening to them, it was like, man, it was like they was talking directly to you. It bypassed all that religious stuff. You know what I'm saying? It bypassed all that. You need something that's going to talk to you, to hear, to this. You need something that's going to talk to this, okay? And not talk to you in an allegoric type of way. Not talking to you through, you know, symbolics and stuff like that. Talking to your spirit. And that right there is what helped me start this journey as well. So for y'all that's listening, that's going through this right here for the first time and stuff like that, that right there is one of the things, that's one of the avenues that I will point you down. I don't know if you believe in psychic mediums or not, but don't write them off. There's nothing evil about them people. They gonna tell you what your church don't want you to know about you. That's what they gonna tell you. They gonna tell you the stuff that your church ain't gonna tell you, because if you knew about this right here stuff, you wouldn't go back to church, and the church couldn't make no money up off of you.
Amen.
That's what these people
I
gonna
must say
tell
the
you.
church word, amen.
Yeah. That's what they gonna tell you. And when you find this stuff out about yourself and you turn back around and you look at your book, you can, wait a minute. Somebody told me something wrong. Get it? So again, last time, I'm about to end this right here, and I will get with y'all tomorrow morning. If like I said, if the message come to me by the morning, I'll be on live in the morning. I do my lives on Facebook, and then I transfer it to TikTok and stuff like that. I like I said, I hardly go live on TikTok, or I just might do it like I did it the other day ago and go both live on TikTok and Facebook. You know what I'm saying? My full videos to some of these clips that y'all be seeing is on my YouTube page. Hey Uncle Roni, okay? I got a YouTube page where I post the full videos to these clips that y'all be seeing over here on TikTok. Is on my Hey Uncle Roni page on my YouTube. That's where you can find these full videos. And I've been doing this right here stuff for months. I got months worth. I got hundreds of videos where I did this, talking like this right here. You know what I'm saying? So I recommend y'all go look at them and take what you can out of. Like I said, it's not a one size fit all, man. We trying to help each other, man. Shell, you just helped somebody. I don't know who you done helped on here tonight, but you done helped some people with just giving your testimony. And I appreciate that right there. We need more of that. I need more of that over here. I need other people outside of myself because my way ain't the only way. Your way is not the only way, but it's a different way. You see what I'm saying? And that right there, really, somebody listened to you tonight and you help somebody. And I appreciate that. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. And y'all have yourself a blessed night. Okay.
Catch you on the next